برای توی کوچه رقصیدن، برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن، برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن، برای شرمندگی، برای بیپولی، برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی، برای کودک زباله‌گرد و آرزوهاش، برای این اقتصاد دستوری، برای این هوای آلوده، برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده، برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش، برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه، برای گریه های بیوقفه، برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه، برای چهره ای که میخنده، برای دانش آموزا، برای آینده، برای این بهشت اجباری، برای نخبه های زندانی، برای کودکان افغانی، برای این همه برای غیر تکراری، برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی، برای آوار خونه های پوشالی، برای احساس آرامش، برای خورشید پس از شبای طولانی، برای قرصای اعصاب و بیخوابی، برای مرد میهن آبادی، برای دختری که آرزو داشت پسر بود، برای زن زندگی آزادی، برای آزادی، برای آزادی، برای آزادی.
Hello, my darlings.
Hey, everyone.
Hello. Hope everybody's well this evening. How we doing, kids? How's life? How's things? I hope you all had a good weekend. What am I talking about? Yeah, Saturday. So I hope you had a good Saturday. Weekend isn't over yet. You can still go out and party. In fact, it's Saturday night at 8. What the fuck am I doing here? I should be out somewhere getting smashed or smashing something's back door in. Who knows? Either way, we're not doing anything. This is a quiet one. We're having a quiet drink of tea. And I can tell you it's tea because I got the goddamn teapot right here. Yep, no more alcohol for me, kids. No more the shaitan's juice. Gotta go teetotal for a while, kids. Getting older, body is starting to fall apart on me, and if I want to not die before I'm X date, I don't want to say, well, you know, before I'm due to die of old age, around 90 or maybe 110. I'm really optimistic here. Yeah, either way, I'm gonna keep. Gotta get a bit fit. Gotta get the devil juice out of my system for a while, because it's pushing up a lot of things: blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar levels, diabetes, all that shit. Yep, that comes with age, and fat. These tits don't come for free, kids. My milkshake does bring all the boys to the yard. Unfortunately, it causes diabetes. So, what are we doing? What are we doing, boys and girls? What are we here for? Are we here for just to chit-chat, for me to shoot thy shit? Or are we here to do something? Are we here to talk about something? Yes, we are here to do something and talk about something. We are here to discuss Mr. Tate. Andrew Tate. Now, I'm not really that bothered about Andrew converting to Islam or reverting to Islam, if I were to be politically correct, or according to the Muslims anyway, and their crazy definition of words. But no, I'm here to really respond, or at least highlight a reply from a young Muslima, well, I'd say young, that's being overly generous. I would say a Muslima. Shall we go there? Yeah, let's just put it that way. A Muslima. I'm here to respond to a Muslima. That is. Hold on. Let me just. Okay. Gotta go back a little bit, but just want a picture up for now. Yeah. So I'm here to respond to a Muslima talking about Andrew Tate and should Muslims follow Andrew Tate. The funny thing is, she herself kind of contradicts, or at least admits to her own contradiction in this video, because she talks about how Andrew Tate had a terrible past, and yet acknowledges that once you have become a Muslim, taken your shahada, all your sins are cleared, and yet she's still judging him based on his previous sins, and tries to give some kind of ridiculous hadith that Muhammad apparently someone killed his uncle and that man converted to Islam. Although he says that he's forgiven, Muhammad refused to have the man sit in his presence, so clearly he didn't forgive him. So clearly his sins were not forgiven. And she's using that same hypocrisy, effectively. She doesn't acknowledge that this is a hypocritical move by Muhammad. She just simply says that... What is this? Why do I have that open? Yeah, she just simply says that Andrew Tate is not a good enough role model for Muslims to follow, even though I actually think he represents Islam in a male sense perfectly. But alas, who am I? I am just but a mere fat, bold Islamophobe on the internet. I am not a doctor, as this individual claims to be, Dr. Safiyyah Ally. So yeah, let's listen to Safiyyah Ally discuss why Andrew Tate should not be followed by other Muslims. Now, before I get into this, I have put up a poll that says, is Andrew Tate trolling Muslims? Yes, no, and also I am a simp and a cockhold. And apparently I'm a simp and a cockhold has had 23% of the votes. Which is kind of what I expected from this audience. But of course, yes is 46%, no is 31%, and yes, I am a simp and a cuckold is at 20. Well, it's at 22% now. It's gone up. Oh no, it's gone down. Sorry, it was 23%. Someone changed their mind apparently. But when I said I am a simp and a cuckold, I wasn't saying that I am a simp and a cuckold. If you clicked on that, you were acknowledging that you are a simp and a cuckold. You know that, right? But, okay, whatever. Anyway, Hassan says I voted that. Big up everyone in the chat. We've got, Hassan Yalmiz as always, Samad Agha, Shavitz, Jacko Radio, Violet Sky, Nissan Main Dealer. These names. Crypto Rules, Mustafa, and I guess that's it. Shavitz, I've already said that. Oh, Victoria West. Hello, madam. Okay. Oh, big up Ultra at his house. Just celebrated my 9th wedding anniversary. Well done, mate. You hung in there for 9 big ones. Congratulations to Ultra for hanging in there. Big up the G Block and the Atheist Defense League, the ADL. Always bigging up the ADL. And actually, on that note, let's listen to a Muslim lady, a doctor no less, talk about Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate is now a Muslim. The news has set Muslim social media on fire. Tate is the biggest influencer of all time. He's wildly popular on social media, and he's had a huge young male Muslim following for years now. The men who follow him are attracted to his confidence, money, and power. They say he pushes back against feminist ideas that make them feel attacked simply for being men. Tate embodies the alpha male. He shows people how to be a man, and in the process, he makes them feel strong, validated, and powerful. But while many young Muslim men look up to him as their role model, he lives his life in opposition to everything that's Islamic. To begin with, he says,
Again, he used to live his life in everything that's opposition to Islamic. You see, this is the problem. She is still judging him on how he used to live versus how he actually, versus what he should be living as a Muslim from now on. So is he still living in that lavish lifestyle? Now, I haven't seen any evidence of him partying, drinking, smoking, and womanizing. I haven't seen it since his conversion, but maybe Safiyyah Ally is privy to knowledge that I don't have. I don't know. But up until now, I haven't seen it. Oh, wait a minute. Is it playing? Sorry, guys. I'm just checking to make sure. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, hold on. Okay, I think I was coming through to different things. Okay, guys, tell me if I have any sound issues, if the sound is bad or good or what. I'm going to carry on.
Horrible things about women. He talks about how he'd violently assault a woman who accuses him of cheating. He says women must bear responsibility for being raped. He brags about being able to break a woman's jaw with a
hold on. Okay, you guys are now complaining about echoes. God damn this StreamYard. StreamYard is the bane of my life. Stop using it. Okay. How's the echoing now? Still echoing, guys? It's your mic echo, not the video. I know, but I've killed the StreamYard, so the echoing should have gone away. Is it still echoing? Oh my goodness. Only when you're talking. Yeah, but that was the whole point. Hold on. Okay. Still echoing? Let's see, actually, it might be the setup. I think I'm going to have to rejig my setup here. Okay, I can see my volume pinging. No echo, good. Okay, we're off to the races.
Claims that younger women are better catches because they've been through fewer men. And he says women are the financial and physical property of men.
Well, actually, he doesn't just say that. Muhammad sort of says that. Also, the fact that this lady is wearing makeup, you can clearly see she's wearing makeup. She has foundation. She's got some sort of lipstick. Those are not natural looks. But also, these are also decrees of Muhammad. Muhammad considered women his property. In fact, he considered people his property. He sold 2 white slaves for 1 black slave. He literally owned human beings. You're now having a go at Andrew Tate that he considers women to be the physical property of men when your prophet literally owned slaves. But let's carry on.
Beyond his views about women, Tate has earned millions in an online business that he admits was a scam. It used female webcam models to manipulate men to part with their money. Tate and his brother took nearly...
I'm sorry. It was a scam to have webcams? Is webcam business a scam now? What kind of scam is that? No, they set up a business. They hired flats for women to come and do webcam shows. And he gave, according to Tate, 50% of whatever these women earned to the women. So it was a 50-50 split. I provide you with the flat, the accommodation, the environment, the set, if you will, for you to do your webcam shows. You come in, you do a webcam show, and if it's popular and the more money you make, we break it down 50-50. Whatever you make, you take 50, I take 50 for the overheads. that I'm providing. It wasn't a scam. When you go to work for McDonald's, when you go to work for some company, offices, I don't know, Twitter, you think they give you 50% of what you make for that company? They don't even give you 1% of what you make for that company. They give you barely 1 or 2%. Your wages constitutes barely a percent of that company's earnings. So if you're making money for that company, they're not giving you 50% of what you make for them. On what God's earth does any company or does anywhere give you 50% of what you make for the company if you're working for a company? You go and work for yourself. By all means, these webcams, girls were free to go and hire their own studios and their own flats or whatever and set up their own webcams, but they came to him because he provided the facilities in which these ladies used to work and gave them, 40, 50%. He says he took 40, so he gave them 60%. If anything, he's still giving them way over the odds of what most companies would if you go work for them for a regular job.
40% of the profits, and they used that to start a strip club. This summer, he was banned from social media platforms for fear he'd use them to solicit and groom young women. He now has a get-rich pyramid scheme called Hustler University, and Muslims are signing up in droves.
Again, he didn't, first of all, he didn't solicit, he didn't try to solicit women to become his webcam girls through social media. He was getting them anyway, and he can still get them now. It hasn't changed anything at all. He got chucked off the Matrix, or the Matrix tried to shut him down, because of the fact that he was actually quite influential, and he was telling young men not to simp for women. Ironically, women like you, even though you claim to be a Muslima, but we all know she's as much of a real Muslim as, the sheikhs in Dubai are real sort of pious Muslims. She's a SJW Muslima. She's a progressive Muslim. I bet she's the one types that carries a card saying, Allah loves gay people and shit like that, and they want to be all inclusive, and she's probably looking for equity and diversity and inclusion for trans Muslims. So we know that she's one of these Western tourist Muslims. She's not actually like a real Middle Eastern Muslim. She's a Western tourist Muslim, a social justice progressive Muslim. Muslims don't consider you a Muslim. Muslim will tear you apart in an actual Islamic dominant country. So love, you're a tourist yourself with your social justice feminist ideas. Which man? Which husband? How is it your husband is allowing you to even be on TV the way you are? No good Muslim. You should be looking after your children right now. Where are your kids? Who's looking after your kids? Who's looking after your husband when you're making this video? That's what I want to know.
All this adds up to someone who isn't a good person, to put it lightly. Andrew Tate isn't calling people to what is wholesome and ethical and moral. He's calling people towards violence, conceit, materialism, and hedonism. Every Muslim should stand against that. The big question is, what does his conversion mean for Muslims? Should we celebrate, or is this cause for concern? Anyone can outwardly become a Muslim. It's a pretty straightforward process. You profess your belief in Allah and the Messenger, and that's pretty much it.
That's questionable in itself. How is it that you just say a few words and suddenly, bam, you're a Muslim? At least the Jews force you to study for 2 years. It takes 2 years to convert to Judaism, and you have to convince panels and panels of rabbis, and you have to have interviews and examinations and all sorts of things. You have to actually go and learn like Hebrew and shit. You can become a Muslim at a drop of a hat. You could be drunk and take the Shahada, and you're done. That is, to me, very questionable, how easily you can come into this religion. But of course, Islam looks for numbers. Islam isn't interested in actual piety. It's not interested in actual belief. It's just like numbers. Look, we're the fastest growing religion in the world. We're the fastest growing religion in the world. Even though half our members don't even know what the hell the religion is about, or what the prophet of that religion actually did or say, or what's written in that obscure Arabic text, because most of them don't know how to read Arabic. Half of them don't even know how to read, full stop. So yeah, that's, to me, to be honest with you, exceedingly questionable how you become a Muslim. But okay, fine, you say your magic words, your Patronus spell, and you magically become a Muslim, and Allah is like washed away all your sins. Congratulations. Okay, let's go back a little bit and then get into it.
Pretty straightforward process. You profess your belief in Allah and the Messenger, and that's pretty much it. Someone can commit terrible evils but still identify as Muslim.
Yes, but when you profess your belief in Allah, isn't it true that all your sins are washed clean? So if all your sins are washed clean, then what's the problem?
And anyone can make a declaration without being sincere. Who'd be able to tell if they can't see into the person's inner self? In the Quran, there are many verses condemning hypocrites. God in the Quran repeatedly warns the Prophet Muhammad that there are hypocrites in his community of believers, and he should be careful about trusting them. So this was a huge problem in the time of the Prophet, and it means that the Prophet and the Muslims around him would have been wary of some people who were entering the fold of Islam. And we can be wary.
What's going on here? It's freezing up. I don't know what's happening with YouTube. Is it YouTube or is it my computer? I don't know. Oh, god damn. Sorry guys, it's frozen up. This YouTube business has frozen up. What's going on? Let me refresh.
He lives his life in opposition to everything that's Islamic. To begin with, he says horrible things about women. He talks about how he'd violently assault a woman who accuses him of cheating. He says women must bear responsibility for being raped.
Actually, he said that if a woman is cheating, he's going to go straight to the old Deuteronomy, Old Testament, and start collecting rocks. And ironically, that is the same in Islam. An adulteress found guilty of adultery is going to be stoned to death. Men get lashes, women get stoned to death. So you can't really even argue based on the basis of your own religion teaching him anything better. He would be following Islam if he actually stoned his adulterous wife to death.
He brags about being able to break a woman's jaw with a slap. He claims that younger women are better catches because they've been through fewer men.
Well, you guys literally in your religion oust women who have been harlots. If you're not a virgin when you get married, you are considered a leftover woman. You're considered on the shelf. You're defiled. So Islam absolutely promotes virginity and purity when it comes to being married. And when it comes to marrying younger women, you really want to go there, love? You really want to start going down the road of who is marrying younger or dating young women after Muhammad and the Aisha situation? Really? Really? You look at this with a straight face. She's condemning Andrew Tate for liking younger women because they've had less D, but doesn't even acknowledge that her own prophet, cherished greatest man who's ever walked the earth, married a 6-year-old and consummated that marriage at the age of 9. You want to tell me about marrying young and how it's wrong? You know that thing about hypocrites? You know that thing that you said your religion, your prophet was worried about a lot of hypocrites? Now it's your name, lady.
And he says women are the financial and physical property of men. Beyond his views about women, Tate has earned millions in an online business that he admits was a scam. It used female webcam models to manipulate men to part with their money. Tate and his brother took nearly 40% of the profits, and they used that to start a strip club. This summer, he was banned from social media platforms for fear he'd use them to solicit and groom young women. He now has a get-rich pyramid scheme called Hustler University.
Hustler University is not a pyramid scheme, even though I'm not particularly a fan of it. I've seen a lot of videos. A lot of people say most of the stuff on there you can find for free. It's mostly about drop shipping and very, very sort of mid-level money-making sort of schemes. There's nothing flamboyant or exciting about it. But just because it's not exciting or it's not going to make you a millionaire overnight doesn't mean it's a pyramid scheme. It's just not worth the money.
And Muslims are signing up in droves. All this adds up to someone who isn't a good person, to put it lightly. Andrew Tate isn't calling people to what is wholesome and ethical and moral. He's calling people towards violence, conceit, materialism, and hedonism. Every Muslim should stand against that.
All the things the Muhammad followed: hedonism, multiple wives, young child brides, elevated himself very quickly to the higher, as soon as he became a prophet, everything was for Muhammad. He convinced his own stepson to divorce his wife because he fancied his stepson's wife. This is a man who is deeply into hedonism. Not a word about that though. No. It's Andrew Tate that's the problem. Andrew Tate would literally be your prophet if he was just born, 1500 years ago.
The question is, what does his conversion mean for Muslims? Should we celebrate, or is this cause for concern? Anyone can outwardly become a Muslim. It's a pretty straightforward process. You profess your belief in Allah and the Messenger, and that's pretty much it. Someone can commit terrible evils but still identify as Muslim, and anyone can make a declaration without being sincere. Who'd be able to tell if they can't see into the person's inner self? In the Quran, there are many verses condemning hypocrites. God in the Quran repeatedly warns the Prophet Muhammad.
Yes, just like you. Hypocrites who point out Andrew Tate's flaws, although his flaws are negligible compared to Muhammad's. But, hey, there's no problem with that type of hypocrisy, surely.
That there are hypocrites in his community of believers, and he should be careful about trusting them. So this was a huge problem in the time of the Prophet, and it means that the Prophet and the Muslims around him would have been wary of some people who were entering the fold of Islam. And we can be wary too. We don't have to get overly excited every time someone says they're a Muslim. A lot of online commentators are saying we shouldn't judge Andrew Tate, that he's a new man now. And it's true that there are Quranic verses and hadith which show that God forgives the sins a person accumulates.
And there you are making a video talking about how he's a terrible person. Isn't his sins washed clean? Not according to you. You're still here judging him.
Before they convert. There's a verse in the Quran that says, "Say to those who disbelieve, if they desist, what has preceded them will be forgiven." And there's a hadith, I can't speak to its context, but the Prophet is reported to have said to Amr ibn al-As when he became a Muslim that Islam wipes away the sins that precedes a conversion. But there are three things we need to consider. First, if those sins involve transgressions against the rights of others, scholars say you're still accountable. If you wrong someone, you must make amends and
Okay, there it is again. If you wrong someone, you must make amends and seek forgiveness. How do you know he's not out there seeking forgiveness? You're judging him without actually knowing whether he's abided by these rules. You've got the rules in front of you. It's literally saying that, yes, if you've wronged someone, you have to seek forgiveness. But yet you're still going to make this video about how he's a terrible person when you don't actually know whether he's actually gone and followed your rules and sought forgiveness from those people that he's wronged. First of all, you have to prove who is he wronged and has he gone and atoned for his mistakes. Nope. Just make this video. Go ahead and judge. I think you'll find your own religion is going to condemn you for this video.
Seek forgiveness. As of this moment, Tate hasn't even acknowledged that he did wrong to anyone, much less tried to rectify his wrongs.
How do you know this? That is the question. Do you have some evidence that he has not? You think that he should have done it on video? That he should make some sort of YouTube video about all the people he's gone and asked for forgiveness? Maybe he's done it in private.
It is true that there were people in the time of the Prophet who did terrible things and became Muslims. Many became Muslims after they had killed Muslims in battle, but they were not punished for what they had done. And yet, that doesn't mean that everything was all hunky-dory. When Wahshi, the assassin of the Prophet's beloved uncle Hamza, became a Muslim, the Prophet accepted him, but he asked that Wahshi not sit in his presence.
In that case, then the Prophet didn't forgive him. You just said he forgave him, but he didn't if he didn't want him to sit in his presence. He just simply tolerated Wahshi. He didn't forgive him, otherwise he would forgive him for everything and he would sit in his presence. So he still kept judgment against Wahshi. This is what I mean. This is like your insanity, your cognitive dissonance, that you don't seem to recognize that actually if I forgive someone, then I forgive them for the wrongs that they did. But if I don't want them sitting in my presence or don't want to be, you really haven't forgiven. You're just like, yeah, I'll tolerate you. But forgiveness actually means forgiveness. Like, all is good. We go back to square one. But no, he's still judging him.
Because it reminded him of the loss of his uncle. This means that the real hurt associated with these individuals couldn't be forgotten easily, even if they became a Muslim and sincerely repented. But the second point I want to make is that Tate's videos aren't in the past. They're still present all over the internet. And Tate...
But that is not his fault. Other people are posting. You literally said all social media banned him. So the videos that he's made that are now being distributed are other people that are distributing his videos. So unless he becomes some kind of godlike internet sort of magician where he can erase every video of him ever made, then he's never going to be able to get rid of these videos. You're judging him based on what other people are now putting out.
He has continued to post things after his conversion of Islam that are problematic. In fact, the very first post...
You see, that's why you know this woman's a social justice warrior. She's a progressive, because of that word, problematic. The minute she said problematic, you'll know this is a social justice. This is a modern progressive Muslima. That's why she's sitting in front of this right now. I mean, if she was actually a real Muslima, she'd be too busy cooking and cleaning for the 15 children that she has to look after. She's not going to be sitting in front of a camera having fucking, making judgments on men of all people as well. This is not even your place. You shouldn't even be doing this. Under true Islamic doctrine, you shouldn't be out and about, flaunting your face with all that makeup and eyeliner.
After his conversion was a hadith he quoted, which aligns with his misogynistic thinking.
No. The fact is, Islam is misogynistic, and Andrew Tate agrees with Islam. That's what it is. It says, the Messenger of Allah, peace, blessing, blah, 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 I was shown hell, and I have never seen anything more terrifying than it. And I saw that the majority of its people were women. This is in your Islam. This isn't like he didn't go ahead and pick something out or manipulate something. This is Islam. Islam is a misogynistic religion. It's highly patriarchal, and it considers women as property. So he's not doing... Did he misquote this? Is there a verse out of fucking context here? It is exactly what Muhammad said. Most of them were women. They said, why, O Messenger of Allah? He said, because of their ingratitude, kufr. It was said they are ungrateful to Allah. In fact, he's probably talking about you. He said they are ungrateful to their companions, husbands, and ungrateful to good treatment. If you are kind to one of them for a lifetime, then she sees one undesirable thing in you. She will say, I have never had anything good from you. It's so true, though. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. That's the kind of shit women do anyway. I mean, that is not entirely... I mean, the whole thing of majority of women being in hell is one thing, but the fact that women are never satisfied, and you can never satisfy a woman, you can do a lifetime of good, but you put one foot wrong one time, and she is like, you've always hated me. You've never done anything for me. You're like, motherfucker, I'm working my fingers to the bone here. The fact that you're sitting in this house, you drive this car, you have this luxurious life, it's because I'm killing myself 12 hours a day at work. But I've never done anything good. Son of a bitch. I can't fault this, to be perfectly honest. The man, even 1400 years ago, women were ungrateful bitches. It seems that one factor hasn't moved on. Holy shit, I'm sitting here caping for Muhammad now. But I mean, when they say the truth is very simple and obvious, and it is available to everyone if you care to explore it and find it. I think someone once quoted that Winston Churchill said, the truth, most people stumble over the truth, then get up, dust themselves off, and walk away like as if nothing has happened, because the truth is that simple and that obvious that they don't think it's anything. So yeah, maybe it is true. Women are just unfucking grateful. And Muhammad spotted this. I mean, he did have multiple wives. He was literally surrounded by wives. So I guess, you could say he had a good insight into this. And Andrew Tate, clearly a very popular man with women. Maybe they've both come to similar conclusions. The nature of woman has not changed in 1400 years, or probably in 10,000 years.
So even if his past sins were forgiven, he still has to answer for his present ones. My third point is that Tate's reach is unparalleled. He's using his platform not for good, but to call people to evil. He's negatively influencing impressionable young men to think and act on the basis that women are subservient to them. Real women are on the receiving end of the violence preached by Tate, and this leads to widespread social harm. For this reason, we can't adopt a wait-and-see attitude towards him. My advice to young men who follow Tate: ask yourself why. Why would someone attract you who has such a...
Because they are so washed with the gynocentric world that we live in the West and North America and, the Western civilization, Japan, South Korea, anywhere that's been tainted by the cancer that is feminism, that men are fed up. Young men especially are fed up. They don't have strong father figures. They don't have strong male role models. Most of them are being raised by single parent female mothers. And so, yeah, they don't have an outlet to be men. And Tate is telling them, just like many other men in the manosphere and red pill sphere, it's okay to be a man. It's okay to have those masculine feelings, masculine ideas, and it's okay to call women's bullshit out on their bullshit when they're being hypocritical, when they're being ungrateful, when they have expectations that is wildly beyond their ability to get that kind of a man. I mean, there are women out there. There are interviews being done all the time by guys now on the streets asking women, okay, what's the minimum that a man must earn to kind of get with you or marry you? And they're talking about, $500,000, 500,000, 250,000, $1 million. Some of them went up as, he has to earn about $1 million a year. And I'm like, have you seen yourself in the mirror? Do you honestly think you're worthy of a millionaire? This is, to me, it's the same as a man who is literally jobless, without any qualifications or education, talking about, I can get a job that's 100K. Why not? Like, dude, you've done fuck all. You've got fuck all. You know fuck all. You expect to roll into a 100K job? Is that what you expect? Not only that, like men who think they deserve some sort of cover girl model or some model of a runway, and they're fat, bald, and out of shape, and without a penny to rub together. No, I'm sorry. If you're a man who doesn't have a job, out of shape, bald and old, then you're going to have to actually recognize your situation and look for women of your caliber. If you're not a millionaire, you're not going to get these Instagram models. I can 100% guarantee you. You can get good-looking women, but there are some women that are going to be out of your league. But the thing is, we men have known this all our lives. We've grown up recognizing that there are some women that are way out of our league. We're not going to get those women. Now, don't get me wrong. I think some incels are a little bit delusional about their situation. Some of them, they think that they deserve, they somehow have to have, and I think this comes from this entitlement generation, especially the participation trophy getting millennials and Gen Zs, where they feel that they somehow are owed a Instagram model or some kind of model of a magazine because they were simply born. That's it. But we all know as men, and especially as we get older, we recognize, look, this is where you are, this is what you look like, this is the genetic lottery that you happen to fall into, and you didn't win in the genetic lottery. Yo. You were not, you weren't born 6'4", you weren't born with aesthetically pleasing features, so you have to do some other thing in order to get certain caliber of women. But you may never get the models, you may never get the 10s and the 9s. You may have to settle for the 6s and the 7s. Maybe occasionally you stumble across an 8 and you get real fucking lucky. And to be honest with you, if you do stumble across an 8, and I have in my time, I've stumbled across a few sort of high 8 plus kind of top level 8s. I don't ever think I've ever been with a 10 or a 9, definitely not. But high 8s, and I let them go. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right, Trilla. There is, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I think there are certain objective measures which you can say a girl who's a 9 or a 10 has definitely been, either approached or could very easily get a modeling job. A lot of them do. Modeling. The funny thing is, I was with a girl who has 1 million subscribers on Instagram, and to a lot of people she would be considered like a 9 or a 10, I don't know. And I was with that girl before she was anything, before she was famous, nearly even got married. I wish I could tell you guys who she is or where she is, but she does have 1 million followers on Insta. But that was just a freak. That was just a freak of nature. Now, she was good looking. She is good looking, but I never thought of her as a 9 or a 10. Right now on Instagram, I guess a lot of people would consider her a 9 or 10. But I never saw her that way. I suppose it is highly subjective, this ranking, and also circumstantially sort of relevant, because in one group a girl who's an 8 or a 7 could be considered a 9, whilst in another group she can move to another town full of 9s and 10s and she'll be considered a 6 or a 7. So this isn't a static categorization, but for the most part, most people, when they see a 9 or a 10, most of those women have either some sort of modeling career or could easily get one. And most men are never going to get those women. 90% of men, I would wager 95% of men, will never get that level of woman. If you're a guy that looks like me and you get yourself an 8, to be honest, unless she's got the worst attitude ever and you can't live with her, you should consider settling down, because you're punching above your weight already. But again, I think men are a lot more grounded, a lot more realistic about the kind of women they can get. And as they get older, they become much more grounded and realistic about that. And these incels, again, they have to, reevaluate and calibrate their ideas of the kind of women they can get. Because again, I will categorically say there is no such thing as an incel. It is just lazy men who want to get, or who think they deserve, women that are way above their category. There are plenty of women in the world, and just about every man is good enough to get a woman. very minute percentage of men are truly incels that will never be able to get a woman. And I don't even believe that is true. I've seen men who are horrifically ugly, who have, deformities. There are men who've got, all sorts of physical deformities. Men who've been burnt in fires. And they've got wives. They've got marriages. Stephen Hawkins was married and divorced twice, I think. I mean, he had a terrible affliction and he wasn't, he barely could even move, let alone function as a man. And yet he still managed to woo women. He still managed to seduce his own nurse that was looking after him. If Stephen Hawkins can get a woman, then really you don't have a lot of excuses. I think you're any excuse, if you're a physically capable human being that's walking and talking, then really you should. I mean, I consider people like Stephen Hawkins and Danny DeVito as fucking heroes. They are absolute heroes because they're still able to get around and they were still able to seduce women and charm women. So anyway. And also women have a thing about like the what's called Florence Nightingale thing as well when it comes to like Stephen Hawkins. So they're probably, women who like to look after their men. And so there's an angle to be played there as well. Anyway, look at Hassan, for example. Holy shit. God damn it, Sabadogo. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Hassan is a gorgeous, charming fella. You bastards attacking Hassan in this chat. I have you know, this man is one charming son of a bitch. He will woo any woman into bed. I think some of you have experienced his charm and his his seductive capabilities. God damn it. I love you, man. I love you. Don't listen to these cunts. Most of these people are fucking, celibate jacking off tonight whilst you have a good woman by your side. I mean, let's put it this way. Hassan can literally bring a woman on the mic and have her talk. How many of you can say you can do that right now, this evening, right now? I'll put out a link later. Let's see you all bring your women on. Let them have a fucking chat with us. Let's hear your women. Because I guarantee you, 99% of you fuckers that are dissing Hassan right now don't have a woman on your side. This man has a good woman by his side looking out for him. Alright, Triller, later.
Extreme views, speaking such filth and behaving in such an openly immoral way. What does it say about you that you find him appealing? Follow people who represent good and who lead you towards good.
I don't know what's going on with my internet, man. Something's happening.
If you're feeling lost or directionless and need a guide, look to people in our history and present time who are true models of what it means to be a man. Look to the Prophet Muhammad. He was strong and powerful.
Look to the Prophet Muhammad. She literally said, look to the... Yes, because Muhammad was such a moral, upstanding character that if you look to Muhammad, you will have to, one, ask a 6-year-old to be betrothed to a 6-year-old and then marry and consummate that marriage at 9. 2, you have to go and talk to your own stepson and talk him out of his wife, have him divorce his wife so that you go marry his son's wife, your own son's wife. That's the character. That's the person you want me to uphold as the moral virtues. Compared to Andrew Tate is a saint compared to Muhammad. Actually, he is a fucking saint compared to Muhammad. If you're giving me Muhammad as the moral arbiter of good around here, I could do 90% of what Andrew Tate says and still not be as bad as Muhammad. At the very least, Andrew Tate doesn't own slaves. He literally doesn't own slaves, and he makes him better than Muhammad immediately on that moral standard alone. It's unbelievable. unfreaking believable that you're telling me don't follow Andrew Tate, but follow Muhammad's example. Holy shit. The level of cognitive dissonance in these Muslims is unbelievable.
Powerful and courageous, but he used the traditional male advantages that God had blessed him with to be of benefit and service to his family and the wider society. More than that, he was gentle and humble and loving with everyone he interacted with, even if he could have gotten away with being the opposite. That is true masculinity in the Islamic tradition. I'm Safiyyah Ally for Let the Quran Speak.
Yeah, unfortunately, this woman is delusional, and I mean, you know, I don't know whether what her doctorate is in. I hope it's not in Islamic studies, because that would just make her a liar. Because they say never attribute malice when stupidity or ignorance suffices. So I'm going to go with her being stupid or ignorant of Islam, which I don't think she is. I mean, look at her with her Muslima gear and making YouTube videos and calling herself doctor. And she literally runs a channel called Let the Quran Speak. So you would have thought she knows Islam pretty well, considering the things that she's saying. Because, let's be honest, you're lying then. I have to, given your credentials, or at least your surface level credentials, I have to conclude you're just lying about Islam. This isn't ignorance. You know what Muhammad did. You know the slaves that Muhammad owns. You know that Muhammad condemned women to death. In fact, a woman that wrote a poem about him, he actually asked his followers to go and kill her, and one of them did. You know that he ordered the death of children of the Abu Qurayza, or Benu Qurayza. He literally ordered the death of teenage boys. Any boy who had reached puberty, that they had hair in their genitals, he had them killed. The dude was a warlord who ordered the slaughter of hundreds, if not thousands of people. And you're still claiming Andrew Tate is worse than him, and that Muhammad was a gentle man. He was a gentle, kind person. It is, to me, again, I can't put it to ignorance. This woman is lying. She's just outright lying. Because if it was ignorance, then she wouldn't profess the qualifications that she does, and she wouldn't be running a Let the Quran Speak channel. She must be lying. That's the only conclusion you can really take from this, that she's just out and out lying to the audience. But then again, Muslims are used to being lied to all the time. Go and check out any of these Dawa guys. They constantly lie, and then they flip on their own lies. The whole debacle of the Quran never being changed, letter by letter, word for word. Outright lies when you know that there are different Qurans. This is why I've lost all respect for these so-called Muslim Dawa gang in Speaker's Corner. They have been there, and also including Uncle Uthman, this older Pakistani Muslim guy, because if he, after 20 years, 30 years of preaching Islam at Speaker's Corner, doesn't know that there are more than one Quran, then he is lying. He's been lying to people for decades, and now Muslims are changing their tune. Muhammad Hijab himself had to come and admit that, okay, there are different Qurans because of the different qira'ats. So Muslims have never claimed that the Quran has not been changed. It's identical, letter by letter, word for word, because there are different words in different Qurans. They're now literally U-turning on their bullshit. So I'm sorry, Dr. Safiyyah Ally, you are considered a liar in this situation. So yes, my retort is you are a liar. Okay, guys and girls, I've blown my load on this subject. Now, I'm not sure whether I should let a panel on, because you guys are a bit feisty tonight. I see a lot of shit going on in text, and I know Triller wants to fucking come on. He's probably biting at the fucking chump. Hassan, I fear you, Hassan. Letting you on panels is like taking a pin out of a grenade and hoping it won't explode, but you know it's gonna explode. And I don't see anyone else. Jacko, I would love it if you'd actually jump on, but I'm not sure what mood you're in or whether you would. So yeah, I've got my reservations, shall we say, about who is going to come on to Le Panel. Okay, screw it. Let's do it. Let me set this bitch up. Let's do it. Just do it. Even educated fleas do it. Let's do it. Let's get smashed. Okay. Let's see. Gotta set this BS up. Alright. Is it set up? Yeah, it's good enough. No, it's not good enough. I gotta... God damn it. Gotta fix this shite. The hell is going on? Okay. I think we'll do it. We'll do it like this. We'll do it live. F it. We'll do it live. Alright, you C words. No, fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Alright, you cunts. I'm doing it. I'm putting it out. StreamYard link is out. Pin this bitch to the top. Let's see this shit show fucking take its course. The poll at the moment, I have 17% cuckold. I think when I explained what the cuckold meant, what I was intending for the simp and a cuckold, people remove their votes immediately. So yeah, I've got Andrew Tate is trolling Muslims at 52%. Yes, and no's at 31%. Still got 17% claiming that they're a cuckold. Angel Moon, what do you think of Andrew Tate? Alright, Captain Hook. So yeah, the panel's open. Let's get this shit show on the road. I fear this strongly. Let's see who's making some moves. Okay, in the meanwhile, I'd like to acknowledge a few things that actually happened over the last few days. Actually, okay, hold on in the back chat. I will be with you soon. Let me see. Shoot. Oh, bollocks. Sorry guys, I just wanted to actually play this because it kind of jumped into my head and I thought it's nice to acknowledge it. Let me see if I can actually get it on. Oh, yep, I can get it on. Awesome. Okay, this is a thing I played on the Wednesday podcast, but I don't know how many people saw that or didn't see that, so I'm just going to play it one more time. This is a tribute for those of you who don't know. One of our fellow YouTubers called The Wasp passed away on last Monday, and I played this on Wednesday as a little video I created, and I just want to play it again. It's a little tribute to Russ McGarry, aka The Wasp. Very good guy. I don't know. I mean, some people hate him, some people love him. I just thought he was a nice guy. He was nice enough, and he was a funny guy. I got to give it to him. He made some hilarious videos, and that's my little appreciation for that. So here's a little tribute to Russ.
Oh, all the money that e'er I spent, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I've had are sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I've had would wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. Good night and joy be with you all.
All right. So yeah, there's a little tribute to Ross. Rest in peace, my man. Rest in peace. Hope you're cracking jokes up in the big house, as they say, in the upper room. I'm an atheist. Why am I talking about heaven? Well, anyway. So yeah, there's that. Now we got ourselves. We got ourselves Hassan in the house. Big up, Hassan. What's up, dude?
Yeah, cool, Cuzzy. What you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just chilling, reviewing my life. After when you see someone pass away, you kind of have to have a little stock check, and just think, what have you been doing with your fucking life? Because it's certainly shorter than you think. How about you, man?
Well, to be honest with you, nothing changes, man. Life's life, man. It's gonna get you in. It's gonna get you in it. It's up to that stage, innit? Once it's your turn to go, it's your turn to go, man. And there's 1,000,001 reasons how and why it's gonna get you. Don't stress about it. Just live your life. Enjoy your days. Get on with it.
True words, man. True words. Don't get too stressed. Just live it while you got it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even know how old he was. Apparently, he was 61 just now. I just saw Captain. There's a Captain. Yeah, I think it was Captain who put in Captain Hook. Yeah, 61 is pretty young. But he did have kind of bad health, which put him on respirators last year. So,
if I'm not mistaken, he was living in one of those caravan homes as well. I don't think that's really too good for your life as well, if you know what I mean. So, yeah.
Was he actually on one of those kind of like the ones that gypsies and stuff live in? Those big.
Well, it's more like one of them port cabin type things. A little bit more sustainable, but again, like, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
And if I'm not mistaken, was he? Am I right in saying he was a bit of a drinker as well? Right.
Yeah, he definitely was. He loved his drinks. He was drunk a lot. I'm sure that could have.
And I wasn't his biggest fan anyway, to be honest with you. But as I say, it's not good to speak ill of the dead.
Exactly. That's my take, man. You know, it's okay, fine. You can love him or hate him, but just he's once a man's gone, just be chill. You don't need to harp on about, oh, I hated him because of this or that. I don't know. I mean, I just let go, you know. But then again,
what else you got to do about it, Banks? Like,
exactly.
what are you gonna do? Like, what? Dig his body up and like what? and then do what? Understand me? It's like, just let it go, man.
Exactly. There's not much we can do. I said that's the weird thing, because I was on Janet's panel. I think you know Janet from America, right? This American lady.
Yeah. Janet's nice.
Yeah. I was on her panel the other night, just for a whole other reason. Actually, no. Was it? She invited me because of that. I think she did. Maybe because of Wasp passing, because she didn't believe that he had actually passed away. She was like, "Oh, this is some sort of clout chasing for the audience." I'm like, who pretends to be dead to get more audience views on YouTube?
I'll tell you who does. There was that one guy that's currently in a wheelchair with a respirator on. There's some Nicholas something. He's been pretending to be dead. Understand me?
Are you
Get
kidding
away
me?
with rape charges. Yeah. On pretending to be dead.
Oh, wait a minute.
And
He's
Jeffrey
pretending to be
Epstein's-
dead
Jeffrey
to avoid
Epstein's-
rape charges.
Yeah, this guy was, isn't it? I think his name is Nicholas. Nicholas. Oh man, I wish I had my fucking computer, man. Do these live streams with this.
That's a bit excessive.
Yeah.
That is a little bit too excessive to pretend to be. No, is he pretending to be dying, not dead?
No, he faked his own death, bro. Like, literally faked his own death.
Dear, that is insane.
Yeah. Well,
He faked
he's
his
got
own
some
death.
charges to run from. Yeah, got some charges to run from. So it makes sense when he's. Yeah.
Some people
Again,
are a
man, the
little
law
bit
catches
excessive.
up to you. The law catches up to you, man. Like, you can get away with it for so long. And plus, I think, when you're a person of that kind of habit as well, like, what you're going to do is you're not really, you're just evading capture for a little while. Like, you're carrying on still doing his wonkiness, to understand me? So, if it ain't going to be the one previous victim, it's going to be the future victim that's going to get you on that one. But yeah.
That's a bit freaky.
I wish I had a details. It's like pretty recent, man. It's like 2-3 day old news.
Bloody well, I mean, I don't even know who that individual is, so it doesn't really have a lot of bearing on me. But generally, though, I don't think people want to fake their own death just to, get out of whatever. Get out of this.
Oh man, it depends. If you're looking at around 15 years, bro, it might be worth considering, like going dead. Especially if you're gonna do it in some Sierra Leone prison or
maybe.
Nigerian prison.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're looking at down the barrel of a prison sentence, yeah, you're right, maybe. But if you're just what do you call it? I mean, no, the way Janet was saying, he faked his own death for clout in order to get viewers. No. That's a little bit off. That's a bit excessive. All right, we have our fellow resident Muslim Triller in his house. Just a Muslim that hasn't taken a shahada, you could say.
You know what? I do kind of look like I don't know. You can't really say you look like a Muslim, but yeah, I cut my hair and stuff, so whatever. Yeah.
It's not whether you look like a Muslim, dude. It's how you act and talk about Islam that qualifies you.
Yeah. Anyway, I just came on to I just came on to prove the point, Banksy. Like 99%. You were saying whatever.
Oh, you're gonna have a woman on.
That's a female.
You're gonna have a woman's voice. It can't be a blood relative. That doesn't count.
Some of us are actually.
No, but
I'm the only other person that's
blood relatives don't count. Your mom, sisters, aunties.
Oh, you're a wanker. You're that. See, only an idiot would say something stupid like that.
I'm just laying out the groundwork. I'm just laying out the look, dude. I'm just laying out the rules, ground rules here. You can't just bring on your mum and she'll go, oh,
I really don't know why I'm subjecting her to. I was like, you know what? Let's see what the dark side is like.
We need clear evidence.
There are many people darker than Banksy and Hassan.
So
Terrible.
yeah, are you gonna put her on?
No, she's sitting next to me. If she wants to speak, she can.
Is she gonna actually say something then? I mean, I can say I've got my
you got a
you know
question?
I've got
Well,
Naomi
why don't
Campbell
you
sitting
introduce-
next to me, but how the fuck do I know? How the fuck does anyone
I
else
know
know?
I can get Marwan talking just 2
Well,
seconds. I just got to
Banksy's
bring up a
actually quite a
topic
nice
and
guy.
shoot me off.
Sorry?
Like,
So
and
one
he's
at a
not
time,
doing
guys.
you know. Yeah. Sorry.
What was that? What was that, Triller? You said?
I said I'm just talking to her. I said, "Fine."
Oh, I
Just
see.
say
I
hello.
see. Yeah, say
it's not
hello.
her. So shy today. Yeah. But
Mhm. Hello?
Just say hello. These bold pricks. Yeah. Yeah, they're both bold pricks. Anyway.
Triller's so
Huh?
desperate
His
not to
name's-
be an
his name's
incel.
Banksy. His name's Banksy.
Grandma, Grandma Shamima, she's come over. Say hi, Grands.
He's a very nice kid.
He's a lovely boy. He loves my Werther's originals when I bring it over.
Oh god, life is so funny.
Come on, Triller.
I like it that she's just keeping quiet as well, just letting him sink, you know, instead of saying no, come on, I'll say a quick hello.
Oh my
there
God.
you go.
We heard a hello. Hold on, Hassan.
Hi, how are you? I'm not his grandmother.
You're not. How can we
not his
establish
grandmother.
that?
And I'm not his sister. And I'm not his aunt. Thank you.
Tap on the phone 3 times if you need help.
Yeah. just say you'd like to order a large pepperoni pizza if you need us to call the police.
Oh, come on.
I'm enjoying it.
If you're being held against your will, tap on the phone. Tap on the table 3 times. Oh shit!
Is that it? Yeah, no.
Oh, well done,
No,
well
she
done,
sounds
Triller.
alright, man.
Triller for the pussy magnet.
What did I miss on your show? Because I missed the beginning. I missed what that too.
Sorry,
So
Triller,
it's like-
can't hear you, mate. Speak
yeah.
up.
Oh, sorry. It's really low from thingy as well. But like, yeah, what was your show generally about in the thing? What was the Andrew Tate thing? The Muslim lady? Like, what went down? Because I missed the beginning.
Ah, okay. This was a Muslima who runs some kind of Quran channel, and she said that Andrew Tate shouldn't be a role model to Muslims because of all the, unpious things that he's done. He's got webcams, casinos, strip clubs. So he's not a really good Muslim to be sort of admired, because he clearly has a big influence with young men and young Muslim men now, because he's like a Muslim. So all the Muslim channels are promoting him. Mohammed Hijab had an interview with him. Mohammed Hijab practically blew him on his interview. I was like, dude, are you gonna just like disappear under the table in a minute and gobble up?
Actually, I'm pretty sure I reviewed it a bit. I don't know how much I reviewed. I can't remember. I think I fell asleep actually during it. So I missed the interview. I need to watch it properly.
The Mohammed Hijab Andrew Tate interview.
Yeah.
You said you reviewed it. You mean you
Yeah.
fell asleep whilst reviewing something?
Like, I was watching his stream. I was doing a stream and I was reviewing it. Like, towards late at night. I just fell asleep in it.
Whilst reviewing a video.
And, yeah.
So Triller, let me get this. Your review videos involve you passing out.
Basically, yeah.
To the end.
I mean, it's an original take on review on review videos.
It is what it is, man. I'm being genuine.
that's the hot
This
take
show
of
was
Triller
great.
on
You got to
Andrew
sleep in
Tate.
7 minutes.
Holy shit!
I freaks me out, Andrew Tate does. I don't understand what the big thing is about him. I genuinely don't get him. Like, what is he? He's just an orphan child that's paying
No,
each
he's
other
not
money,
orphan.
took it.
He had a dad.
He's a world
He's-
champion kickboxer, dude. That guy is serious.
Look. It's. I mean, this morning, funnily enough, I watched this this video that someone made
Who's the
about
one
Dan
that inherited his
Bilzerian.
money to him?
Sorry.
I thought I thought he comes from inherited money.
No,
so
no,
I'm
no,
assuming
no,
that his
no,
either
no,
his mum
no,
or his dad
no.
died.
Literally, his dad was a broke, I would say, mid-level chess player, because he claims his dad was the greatest chess player in the world. No one ever heard of him, and no major, no one knows whether he won any major grand champion sort of. He certainly wasn't a grand champion because no one even fucking heard of him. All I've ever heard of was Russians. I mean, you would have heard about his father's name is Emery Tate. I've never heard of Emery Tate in the chess world. And I mean, maybe I'm not a big, chess player, but you would have thought he would be on. The way Andrew talks about him, you'd think he's in the same level as Kasparov and those guys, but clearly he isn't, because no one's ever heard of him. So I don't know whether his father was this amazing chess player, but nevertheless, his father died when he was young, but he wasn't, I guess you could say he was somewhat orphaned because one of his parents died, but he was raised by his pet mum in Luton in a council flat, so he wasn't rich. That's this whole thing about him being rich growing up or inheriting money. I think that's not true. But through hook or crook, he managed to figure out how to make money through webcam girls, and then obviously once that took off, then he bought like strip bars and casinos and so on.
You know what? The thing that gets me about these people is like, why do they just don't correct a narrative as the story's going out is beyond me. Like, the whole idea, it's like, where did you get your money from, kid, for you to go to fucking Romania to invest in sound and video equipment for you to become this successful guy? And why allow the narrative to keep coming out as a lie? They're the things that get me. Him as a person, really, just a peasant, just a pimp. That's what you are. Yeah, that's all you are. Genuinely, that's all you are, bro. That's what you're doing.
Are you saying is Pezovic means pimp?
Yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah.
It means a pimp. That's all he is, just a pimp.
Maybe. Look, one thing I will say, I suspect he had some connections and dealings with criminal types. He knows a lot of. He was apparently good friends with Tommy Robinson. There's pictures of him with Tommy. So he knows the underworld of Luton and probably found the underworld of Romania and others, and probably dealt with a lot of Romanian gangsters types in the UK, because there's a lot of them here, and I presume they were the ones who gave him the initial capital to start up these cam girls. He basically probably managed these cam girls for some mafia, Romanian mafia group for a while, made a few bundles of money himself, opened up his own
stuff. Then decided to give him 60% of the girls. The girls 60%.
Well, it could be that they were making a lot. Some of these cam girls can actually bring in a lot of money. There's a lot of money to be had.
I hear that, bro. I'm not doubting what a woman's potential in earning money is. Or what a male's potential is to exploit it. I'm not disputing that. What my thing is his story just doesn't add up. Just doesn't. And when the story don't add up, it's like it just don't add up. So why are you really looking into this? Like, it's just another fake motherfucker that's here to.
Okay,
what the real story is.
Let me give you a comparison. This is my.
Sorry, I don't understand this one thing. Sorry to interrupt you. Why the fuck do cam girls need to work for anybody when they can just get a camera and work for themselves at home? I don't get that. Like, how did he make money from having cam girls? I don't get it.
The thing is, there's a marketing angle, there's the website you have to develop, there's also, these cam girls don't want to work from home because they don't want to expose their own bedroom or home generally in case they get doxxed, and certain dangers come with that. That strippers, if you're involved in the stripper world, you would know, most strippers don't live in the town that they go stripping. They come from, a
No,
lot
I
of the
can vouch
strippers
for
that
that.
I knew came from Brighton or up north, Luton, Birmingham, sometimes as far as Leeds and York. They would come to London and they would go to clubs in London and dance because they don't want to have anyone that recognizes them. In fact, one of my friends came from, I don't want to say where, but it's past Portsmouth, Bournemouth, that sort of side, west coast of England, and he came to visit me, and we went to where was it? I took him to one of our porn sort of events, which was held at Spearman Rhino, and one of the girls came from his town. He recognized her. And the girl literally came up to him and said, please don't tell anyone. And she was like really shy, and she just totally didn't want to be anywhere around him because he knew her. He said, I said, do you know her? He goes, yeah, I know her from our town. And she was
Look, I know what you're
really,
saying,
really
like,
worried.
All right, so that's fair. The bedroom thing, I don't buy that, right? End of the day, dude, who the fuck is going to recognize a bedroom? Nobody, right? That's just stupid. You can just put up whatever curtains and green screens and do all your weird shit anyway.
Yeah, like green screen is hard though, G.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say. It's not as simple as
It's piss easy. All you got to do is just put fucking
for
like
you,
a curtain
dude,
up.
for you. But look, there are literally scores of women, completely computer illiterate, have no idea about how to get started in this. So he would approach them, I would imagine, and say, look, I have a cam girl business. If you want to work for me, you get X amount, I don't know, 50-60% of whatever you make. We've got these places hired out, flats, studios, whatever. You come to this place, we have all the equipment, we have everything set up. And we'll even, probably even train you in how to use the cam, interact with the guys on the cam and how to go to private. So they'll train them up, set them up, and get them going. The fact is that, right now I can say to anyone, anyone can create a website, but there are still professional website designers out there. Even though creating a website is relatively easy, but creating a professional website is a different thing.
Yeah.
And having the clientele list for that as well.
What's this thing in Romania then? So he goes there and makes women, he invites women over, or he basically gets Romanian women mostly? Or what?
I would think even when he started off in Britain, he was probably there was a lot of Eastern Europeans involved. There's a lot. When I was working in the industry, we shot most of our footage in Eastern Europe. Most of our girls were Eastern European, even though we were selling them with names that were English names, and we were plugging them as if they're English girls, but they weren't. They were all Eastern European. In fact, when we were shooting videos, we had to cover up the Eastern European power plugs on the walls because we were selling these girls as being British. So yeah, the porn, people go through all sorts of lengths to sell a girl being British or American or German, but they're nothing of the sort. They're fucking Romanian and Czech. It's fake,
dude.
Because
that's what I mean. Like, a lot of the Romanians are probably quite poor. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of it's not the wealthiest country. I mean, a lot of people. Yeah. Apparently, I saw a documentary about how it's one of the places where they can buy their brides. That's like one of the reasons like men go there. You can buy a bride.
You can buy a bride.
A bride.
Yeah. I mean, Eastern
they
Europe
have a bride market.
Yeah,
in Romania,
dude. I get ads on YouTube right now. I'm not joking. I get ads on YouTube on my phone when I play a YouTube video saying, "Would you like to marry a Slovak lady?" We have lots of beautiful Slovak ladies available from Ukraine, from Hungary, all of these fucking places. Literally, mail order brides are being advertised on YouTube. So
it's not legit because a lot of fake advertising out there. I mean, it's weird how that is on YouTube as well. A lot of fake, scam advertisements.
I was shocked. I was like, they're advertising mail order brides on YouTube now. This is a thing.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Don't.
I mean, you should give Raj the link, innit? He's got a free house.
Raj,
he'll be happy with a Ukrainian.
Raj is actually got multiple houses.
Yeah, man. Yeah, give him the link.
But Raj wants a good wholesome Sikh lady. To be honest, I don't think
Oh,
Raj.
Steak
Raj,
being covered.
Tell him it's too late. It's over. Just get yourself a nice Ukrainian. You get me? You know? He'll forget about Sikh women. Instantly.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Raj is still.
covered Sikh princess. That's what Raj needs.
Oh, mate.
Heinz baked beans
that's-
as well.
that-
Hardly
that's,
anything.
Raj,
You know what? I'll tell you,
That's
those are
right.
very rare. Very, very rare. Yeah.
I can
finding
imagine
an overall
Raj.
package.
Finds himself a beautiful Sikh princess. He flies up to her balcony on his magic carpet. I can show you the world.
I don't know, man. I think he's got better chances in Thailand or something. You know what I mean? One of those ladyboys or something. I don't know. You know?
Maybe. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't think Raj is actually interested in marriage or settling down. It seems he's kind of an asexual individual.
He's happy with his own company, isn't he?
I would have to agree. I mean, no, but you saw he had a porn stash. So how's he asexual, dude? He's wanking off all the time over fucking lots of different fucking things.
Yeah, but the thing is, and I can kind of concur.
You can't be asexual if you're fucking your hand, dude.
No. But what I mean is, you can still have sexual urges, but you don't want to actually get involved with a woman, because a woman isn't just a whole. It's a package deal. You have to put up with all the other shit that comes with that occasional banging that hole, and the package around that hole is what the problem is most of the time, not just the hole.
That shit crazy.
It's the batshit crazy packaging that nobody wants to deal with.
You're fucking nuts, man.
This is why these sex robots are coming, and they're going to sell like hotcakes. Because
What's he talking about? Sex robots.
Sex
dude.
robots,
Nobody's gonna
dude.
buy fucking. I mean, I don't know. They sell those dolls now, don't they? Those,
real dolls, yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, have you actually seen those real dolls? Because there's actually like people who make videos on Pornhub and stuff having sex with these real dolls. It looks horrific.
Yeah.
It looks
really?
like you're banging a dead thing.
It's like a horror show, bro.
It is. It's like, it's horrific, and you think this would scare the shit out of me. I mean, just think about this. Think of it like this. You're sitting, you got one of these sex dolls, and I don't know, I mean, maybe you have a big enough house, maybe you have a big enough closet to stick the fucking thing in there, but if you don't, you probably have to put it on a settee or some shit, and you come home, and the lights are dark, and you see this silhouette, and you turn it on, it would scare the shit out of me. This thing is just sitting like a dead body on your couch.
Can you imagine your Amazon delivery driver have to bring you your parcel
this
to
shit.
that cunt? Just drop it in the bedroom.
Exactly.
Oh, you find it in a leftover position from outside.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
It's a fucking nightmare character. This is the sort of shit they make movies, like Stephen King would write about that shit. Like how your sex doll goes nuts and starts fucking killing you.
Sleeping with your best mate.
Some psychotic fucking sex toy. So yeah, it's like right now they're just not good enough. I mean, even the robots are like fucking the T-800 from like Terminator. They just remind me of the T-8. It's like every time I see one of these sex robots, I think to myself, all I'm imagining is it fucking crashing, having a blue screen crash whilst it's blowing you. Imagine having to call the fire brigade to bring the jaws of life to separate you from your sex doll. You just don't need that in your life.
One of those dominant male dolls.
That's the sort of shit you don't need. That would ruin my day.
Your Honour, what are you doing in this position? Just don't say nothing.
I've got freaking all the sex toys that, like whatever, all the dildos and vibrators and all that shit. All the men, they got their flashlights.
Fleshlights.
fleshlights, isn't it? So whatever it's called, and whatever, you get me. They got their sex toys. So like, basically, what's that mean? You know what I mean? Like, because those things there should be like where couples introduce that together. You know what I mean? For fun together, like, you know, they're not to substitute a person. Well, they shouldn't be anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
not yet. Not until they make what I call the Lucy Lubot. Which is, if you've seen Futurama, you'll know what I'm talking about. Very, very, you know, basically highly realistic dolls, and actual fully functioning, I would say, cyborgs, possible androids.
that's
But
just dumb.
Basically,
I mean,
what
why
you're
not
saying
just- why
is
not
like
just,
a woman,
sort of-
but without the nagging.
No.
100%.
why
And
not
not only
just-
that, not only the fact without the nagging, it has a fucking off button. You can switch it off for the night.
Why? You know why can't you just shut up or just be quiet? Like, what's wrong with that? Like, you know, you could just say that to women, yeah. I don't want to hear it. Shut
They
up.
don't though, do
They
they?
don't.
Hey,
Come on,
wait,
come
be
on,
quiet.
Raj.
I'm doing something.
Sorry.
Like what?
Trilla.
You can't be direct nowadays. What? Is
Dude,
it offensive?
Yeah,
You
can.
go ahead and tell a girl to shut up, and then actually wait for her to shut up.
You know what? I can
Good
I
luck.
can get this one to speak. Yeah, this one is like my robot. I can make her speak when I say speak. I'll make her shut up when I say shut up. How about that? She won't like it, obviously.
No,
but,
Is
you
she in
know,
the room while you're
it's like-
saying these things?
yeah, she's right here. But like, obviously, she doesn't. You know, but she knows
Tap
I'm
on
being
the
silly, yeah. She
table
knows
if
I'm
you
being
need
silly.
help.
Exactly.
But like,
Go
all I'm
back to
saying
the
is,
original.
look, if somebody really likes you, yeah, like, you know, you should just. It's all fun and banter. It's not all fucking serious and shit. You know what I mean? Someone tells you be quiet, whatever, man. Just keep. But you know, there's ways of doing it. You
Is
know
there?
where the limits are, innit? You know, and yeah, man.
I just follow by example. If I wanted to be quiet, I just go quiet. just say
Yeah, but
nothing.
you know what it is?
I'm let
Say
to play
this,
their
ignore
game.
them. Yeah, but this is the thing. You chose to be with that person, though, right? You chose that person, so
Well, they
you're
choose it.
No,
Why
no,
not?
right
no.
now
You see,
complaining.
this is what I'm
Right.
saying, Trilla. We didn't always choose that person. We chose a set of holes, preferably 3. On your birthday, you might get the 3rd one. But some men, we just need a masturbatory device that has a resemblance of a woman. But we're not interested in all the rest of the shit that comes with that masturbatory device. Unfortunately, at the moment, we can only choose the package. There isn't a selection button on there that we can turn off certain things. So
And
that's the
people
problem.
shun on you when you go out with these really simple needed people.
Hmm.
They don't really get judgy when you get like that. Only
I
joking.
don't know, man.
Only
It's pretty
joking.
simple to me. I just wouldn't tolerate some shit. Like I've learned from my previous. You get me, like you know, over the years with other people. You just learn, innit? Like there's some things you're just not willing to tolerate with people. Do you know what I mean? Whether they're, you know, friends or, you know, girlfriends or whatever. You know what I mean? Like anybody, right? It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna. Even family members, like, you don't want to chill with them. You know what I mean? Because you're like, yo. You know what I mean, you piss me off. You know what I mean, you're just a disrespectful person or whatever. So like, everyone's got their boundaries, right? And if you choose to engage with somebody, right, you gotta put up with their bullshit. That's just, you know what I mean, but you're choosing
But
that.
that's
on
the
you.
whole point, Trilla. That's why most men consider, you know, women, the bite not being worth the chew because of all the other shit you have to put up with. Now, occasionally you can find an amazingly chilled woman for a while, but I've come to the conclusion, my assessment of that is not that you found a chilled woman. You just found one that is capable of keeping the crazy on the inside long enough to lock you down. And the minute she's locked that fucking thing down, then the crazy shit comes out. She releases the dragon.
I've said the same thing to her, and she's just tutted us. She's just tutted. She was like, "Oh my lord!" Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like, you know, the thing is, because I had this conversation with her, right? And I was like, you know, like,
What?
certain get what they want. Like maximum, I wouldn't say more than 2 years, but you know, like the more time you spend with someone, the more, you know, whatever. Like,
We
you
got a
kind
part
of
to
see
play in
it,
this
you know?
as well, you know that.
Pardon?
I'll tell
Of
you
course
that.
we do.
Yeah,
Of
we
course, it's a
definitely-
two-way street.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it depends on how much you like. For example, we get, like I think we find these things out a little bit later on in our lives, and we should be finding out a lot sooner. But it is a game of compromise, isn't it? Like if you carry on
that's-
the way that you're carrying on,
But that's the thing, Hassan.
sometimes it might be what they wanted, or sometimes maybe the stuff that they didn't want. And it's if it fits, it fitted, and if it didn't, well, you know, there's the old saying, plenty more fish in the sea and all that shit, you understand me? But me, the way I see it, like, there's really not a massive difference between one to the other, really, to be really honest with you. I think we, like, men have got to somewhat come to more of an understanding of that they're all batshit crazy. Like,
Look,
you're only
I think
making them
what
more
it is,
batshit crazy.
Yeah, but you lot are older. You two are like older, right? Like I'm 37. You guys are like in your 40s, right? Like touching 50.
50, bro.
So, or whatever, you're 50 something. I don't know. But like end of the day, like you know, I think when you get older, you kind of look at things a little bit differently. Like if you're already with somebody, then you're probably not gonna throw that relationship away with that person because you've just, you know, kind of like had a falling out. Do you know what I mean? You'll salvage that because you're getting older now, and you'll feel like, do I need to be that guy? I'll be like, go on then, on your way. I mean, I'll find somebody else, no problem.
And it's another thing as
I
well.
think even if they're good though, yeah.
change.
But having
I'll
that
give you an
mindset is not a
example.
bad thing.
You got that male jumpy. You're still wanting your girl to cook, clean, get your shit. When you get older, you realise that,
No, I
you
don't
know what?
want
If
it.
you
I just
sit
appreciate
around,
it when it's
this
done.
is that,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. Like getting more to the point of it is, the older you get, the more you realise that the more you're sitting down and not moving, the more chance that you're going to die first. But what you do is you then get up. You understand me? And think, no, maybe you shouldn't be cleaning up after me. Maybe I should be cleaning up after me. You understand me? Like, you start learning things that you should have learned years ago.
Dude, I think it's teamwork.
Like this sport, especially like with us Mediterraneans, we tend to get really spoiled as kids, which really don't do us good as well in a relationship, because you're too reliant on that one side to just do all the heavy lifting. When like what Banksy says, and then we got the side where men
Hassan,
are like
you got kids,
working.
innit? Hassan, you got kids, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? I can't believe you got kids and me and Banksy.
Well, I've got a sickhead kid as well, bro. My kid's not just a normal kid. No, he goes against all your standards.
All right,
All your
guys.
standards.
We've got someone actually in the back chat here that I'm going to let on. Let's see if they're going to troll us or they want to participate, because I don't recognize the nick. It's just called War. So let's see what we get from War. Hello, War.
Hello. Could not help myself.
Oh my God! Is this MC? No, this is Erendor, the German Nazi.
Yeah, I remember this guy.
Is that true?
Nah.
I remember him.
Ich weiß nicht, was du talk about. No,
wait a minute. I'm getting all mixed up. Who is this?
Oh, since you didn't recognize me, yes.
It is. Me. It's MC. My Polish man.
I could not help myself. I mean, Hassan have peace. I have to have war. It's for the balance.
All right.
Yes. This is MC, our Polish guy. I recognize the voice. My instincts were correct at first. MC, what happened to you, man? You fell off the Discord. Your channel, I know your Discord account says it's deleted.
They banned me.
They banned you. Were you being too edgy?
Yes, unfortunately, too edgy for them. Too much hostile memes to certain things.
Too edgy for Discord, huh?
Have you built that border yet between you and Ukraine, so it stops them immigrants coming over yet? See?
No, this Discord even described it to me. I mean, they're
dude.
They have told me that I basically was spreading hatred towards a group of people, nationality. Too much Russian anti-Russian memes probably, and that was the problem.
I got I got a letter or a message from Discord telling me that I was on another Discord server, and that Discord server happened to have posts which were discriminatory towards some group, and that I could get my account deleted if I stay on that server. And then later on I checked, the server was gone anyway. I'm like, how is it's my fault that I'm on a server that other people have posted other shit? It's not even my server.
Yes, and that's for what I was punished for. Just like
You
you
were
said.
punished because you were on someone's server and they posted fucked up shit on that server.
Yes.
Holy shit! What kind of bullshit
That's
is
how
that?
Well, that is the decline of Discord.
So you're getting punished for just merely being on a particular Discord server. You don't even
Yes,
have to
I
post
didn't-
anything. Just the mere fact that you're on it, they'll punish you. They'll kick you off they'll ban your account.
I mean, I admit, I posted a Putin's butt plug, in other words, but I didn't know that it would be that offensive to certain people.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what Putin's butt plug is about, but I didn't even post on the server that I got the letter from. I hadn't even posted on that one. I think I wrote like 2 or 3 like hellos and sort of conversational things on that Discord server. It belonged to a guy called Human, who's like a MGTOW, and he's the most nicest, polite, gentle person. The guy doesn't even swear on his videos on YouTube. He's an incredibly mellow guy. So I don't know who else was posting shit on that Discord server, but I didn't post anything. And then I get a letter saying that you can get banned just being on that server. And then it looks like Discord, or either Human himself or Discord, shut the server down. So it's like, what kind of insanity is this? Anyway, dude, your Andrew Tate comments. Any comments on that?
Oh, you mean that he converted to Islam and later on, is he trolling basically the entire community? I mean, if he would, it would be epic, and I would probably die of laughter if that would be proved. But he was kicked off from a few servers, and maybe he wants just to attention whore.
Look, I mean, my take on Andrew Tate is that I think he's using the whole Islam thing as an angle to get back on social media, the main social media, because true, the Muslims will be fucking delighted about this big ballsy alpha male converting to their precious religion. I agree exactly.
with that.
Exactly, and also, even if he doesn't get on the main social media as his own account, sorry, hold on, Trilla. Even if he doesn't get on through his own accounts, he will simply be on Muslim channels, and there'll be. I mean, there's already probably 100 Muslim channels begging him to come on, and that's how he's going to promote himself.
I know, because Banksy, I have another example for you. You don't know her, and good, frankly, because I want too many people to spread her popularity anyway. I have a Polish YouTuber. I mean, she lives in India now. She's called Karolina Goswami, and she has this channel, Indian Details. She basically is sucking the dick of the Indian community anywhere, praising them, whatever, and that's she's grifting basically of them.
Yeah.
Not telling them too much negative about their politics, about their country. She only indulges in whataboutism and how bad European countries are. She even collectively declares herself as she's the European guilty of this, and that. Yes, even colonialism, despite that she's Polish, and her country never did anything like that.
Sorry, Trilla, go on. You were sorry. Hold on, Trilla wanted to say something earlier, but I kind of interrupted.
I got a question for Banksy. Do you think Iran was better off under the Shah?
Difficult. Yes, in a nutshell, than today, than where they are now. Yes, they would have been better than now, because even though the Shah is a dictator, he's at least a secular dictator, like Saddam Hussein, unlike the mullahs, who are actually a religious dictatorship. So they'd still be under a dictatorship. at least it will be a secular one. Women wouldn't be getting killed because they don't wear a hijab or their hijab is a bit off. So on those scales, yeah, they would have been better off than now. But if you're saying that if Iran changes and they should reinstall a Shah, or a lot of people are claiming like the Shah's son, no, I don't agree with that. If they're going to get rid of these mullahs, then they should exchange that with some form of constitutional republic rather than another dictatorship. But that's a topic that is way off what we were talking about. But anyway, that's
bad. But you know, it was like something that somebody was curious about. But yeah, anyway.
Oh, I see.
I've got a question.
Your girls.
Is today's Shah the same as that era's Shah?
You two will get on. Trust me, because she likes politics and
is she based?
You know, she knows stuff about the Middle East and stuff like that, and you know what I mean. You could have an interesting conversation for that.
Put her on, man. Put her on.
Educated woman, you know.
Nobody's afraid here. Put her on.
She's just, working up the nerve, innit? She's just.
I see. She's shy.
She's in a bit of a mood right now. I don't know. We just finished eating. We're chilling.
That's all good. That's all good. Put her on whenever she feels up to it.
Do anything. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, we can be feminists around here. We'll let her talk. God, that is some misogynist bullshit I just fucking came out with. The problem is,
think of them with the wings.
The problem is, I'll be perfectly honest with you. As much as I recognize the benefits of the chauvinistic attitudes of the Middle East when it comes to the way they treat their women and keep their women in line, I fundamentally find it uncomfortable to be that sort of not misogynistic. People misuse the term misogynist because they don't understand what the fuck it means. It's the hatred of women. Most of these men are just chauvinists. They're male chauvinists. They're not misogynists because they don't hate women. They actually love and want to protect their women. They just are chauvinistic and incredibly male-centric about how they want to provide that protection and looking after the way they want to look after their women, and they don't consider their women to be capable of being autonomous. And I don't actually believe that.
Are you sympathetic to what the women's movement in Iran right now?
In Iran.
The women's movement.
I mean, this is the problem. This is the problem. I do think that women should have the choice to live the way they want to live. This is my fundamental basis, is that although I don't like women being all crazy and these bitch bosses and all these girls who talk about how they're always fucking fabulous and they're not, although I disagree with those things and I disagree with some of these male hating feminists, I fundamentally believe that it's a human right to have the choice to live the life you wish to live. Sorry, are you talking? No, he was talking somewhere else. But yeah,
sorry, my partner was.
That's all good, man. That's all good. But I fundamentally believe, yes, you should choose the life you wish to live. Now, if a woman wishes to live the life of a high-flying director and die childless and lonely and with 20 cats, that is the choice she made in life, and that's perfectly fine. Live your life, die the way you want to die, and if you're going to die miserable and alone with 20 cats and childless, but you built an empire, so be it. But what pisses me off is when women make those choices and then complain why no man wants them. It's like, love, you chose this life, you made this bed, now be fucking happy with it and sleep in it. But they don't want that, they want it all.
I got another question. What was it? Sorry, she doesn't want to speak today. I don't know what's wrong with her.
Be realistic.
Can I chime in one question as you're preparing up?
Yeah.
Do you think
just hold up until Hassan comes in.
That era is the same as the Shah of this era, if it were to return? And would that be a better regime change?
Well, the son of the Shah, Reza Shah Pahlavi, the third, this one would be. He is an American. He's grown up in America pretty much most of his life, so he's got very liberal Western ideas anyway. I don't think he will be even close to the Shahs of the old. Even his father was very liberal. His father was educated in Switzerland, I think, or Sweden. He could speak like 6-7 languages. So he was very westernized compared to his dad. Now, his dad was a proper dictator. Old school Ataturk level dictator. So Hassan, you'd appreciate that because you know Ataturk and all that. So he was on that level.
Yeah.
None of the Shahs since are going to be
the
that
country
way.
needs to be strong.
Sorry?
I've got no qualms in having a strong nation being run by a strong leader.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
But that's the problem. That's the problem. The Shah or the son of the Shah now, he's not going to be that level of strong leader. He's a wishy-washy, westernized, limp-wristed little bitch. And Iran isn't going to be able to. He's not going to be able to hold the country like Iran together.
Do you mind me asking you? Am I right in saying that there's a fear that the Taliban type tribal warriors out there will come onto Iran and absolutely have a field day? Would that be a genuine assumption if this new Shah came down with very liberal ideas into a very
if a weak leader takes over after the mullahs are gone, then there's a very good chance Iran will break up into its component sort of ethnic parts. The Kurds will take a piece, the Turks will take a piece, Lors, Arabs, whatever, Persians, whatever ethnicity, it will start to break up on the along, I would say, ethnic lines, and Iran could get fractured. Iran could be multiple nations. It could fall into like a old Soviet Union.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, extremely dangerous. And Iran may not be the nation that it is now. It may completely break up, or just civil wars breaking out every 5 fucking minutes all over the place. Warlords running certain areas, kind of like Afghanistan. You see, Afghanistan after the Taliban fell, it wasn't run by a central. Kabul wasn't running shit. It was warlords all over the place. And then the Taliban happened to be the bigger group of the warlords,
It just reminds me of what currently Syria was going through 8 years ago. This is all I can see is a rerun of that. Literally, just a rerun of Syria. Just look at what happened back then in Syria.
Potentially.
And exactly what's happening now in Iran. And I genuinely don't think it's going to happen in Iran because I think...
Yeah, Iranians are too intelligent, mate.
No, it's not that. I think America's really spread themselves too thin for that to happen.
Yeah, the thing is, Trilla, it's
Iranians
not about...
ain't dumb, bruv.
No, it's not about individuals or small groups of intelligent people.
No, but we're talking about generally the people in charge. Do you know what I mean? The whole civilization, everything. Like,
but you got to realize, Trilla, Iran, most of the Iranians you would have probably come across... either moved over to Britain in like the 70s and the 80s, or they come from big cities like Mashhad, Esfahan, Tehran, and they are mostly sort of highly educated. Iran is a country of 80 million people, and a massive portion of them don't even know how to read and write. So it's not a highly developed, educated nation as a whole. You can find pockets of extremely advanced
Are women more
individuals.
educated than men in Iran?
Sorry?
Are women more educated than men in Iran?
Well, yeah. I mean, not. The thing is, again, you got to span it across 80 million people. You'll find women in universities in Iran, in again big cities, but not in villages, not in all the different areas of the country. So as a whole, the population isn't as highly educated as you think they are, because you're only looking at large cities and people who come from the large cities, mostly Tehran. And even these protests...
I'd like to add, that because Banksy's really missed this major bit, that pre-1972, even those villages that were in Iran were highly educated people living there back then. And pre-72, Iran was something.
You mean the revolution? Are you talking about 79?
Yeah. Well,
you mean 79 with the Islamic Revolution?
Yeah. I believe it was when the Shah was kicked out. Was in '72 though, wasn't it?
No,
Unless
79.
my history is now really mistaken.
No. He
By the
was
sounds
he
of
was
it, it
kicked
is.
out in. Well, he was kicked out twice. Once was in the 50s when Mohammad Mossadegh came into power, and the Shah flee, and then he was returned because the CIA sent over Kermit Roosevelt to enact a coup. And then once Mohammad Mossadegh was ousted, the Shah was reinstated, and then the revolution in 1979 stroke 1980 occurred, and that's when he fled again for the second time. So it was 79.
I don't know. I remember people when my mum was renting a house, and I was assuming it was the Shah that was at the lead of that at '72. I remember that they were sending students over. This was a nation that was sending students over, that was sponsoring their parents to send their kids overseas to any of the colleges and universities that they so desired, understand me, to be funded by these people. And I remember my mum having a fucking field day with that, and like being so blessed by decent people coming over and just learning English and a trade. It was just fucking amazing. And then 40 years later, you don't want any of these people here, which I find absolutely shocking. I mean, they're the same fucking people, just need the education put in there, and they're there. Like they're not
Banksy,
that far
I
removed.
think my chick is going to give you some questions in a bit.
Sure.
Doing something right now.
One
she,
thing I
she
want-
wants to. She definitely wants to ask you stuff. I think she just wants to. Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, I
Maybe
said,
she's a bit
dude, more than
yeah.
welcome. One thing I wanted to say, Hassan, and also the comments I made earlier about the sort of levels of education in Iran. Sam Emmers posted Iran has a literacy rate of 85.54%. So it is pretty decent. I mean, that, you know, for developing.
You know, with the female thing, yeah, like, is that a Shia thing? Do you think, like, when it comes to the boys and the girls being more educated? Like, this is my question.
I don't know.
Is that like something to do with the Shia and the Sunni thing? Like, are Shia people?
Their fathers
maybe a little
realised
bit,
a lot earlier that it's the girls that have got far more potential to raise a great family and bring up a great support system than
I mean,
the sons did.
are they giving their
That's what that comes down
because
to.
they're Shia, basically? Yeah,
I can't,
that's what I'm
Because
saying,
once
kind
they
of thing.
become doctors, they want to be at home with their family, and to have someone that's in a doctor's position, then like a highly skilled dentist or a scientist or a teacher, their women pick up these jobs very easily and adapt extremely easy because they've got that family structure there still. You know, if mum goes to work for 8 hours, it's not going to have children raised up as fucking animals.
yeah, I
Simple
mean,
as that.
the thing is,
No, but
I don't
know,
think
dude.
it's a.
I mean, dude. I mean, sorry, Banksy. 1 second, yeah. Sorry, Banksy, yeah.
Sure.
When it comes down to it, Hassan, I mean, if you saw, what you call it, one of the things about the Rockefellers, yeah, basically breaking up the family structure, the home, and everything else by obviously bringing women into work. You know, they were advocating for feminism, basically to get women to work and not to raise up their children and this and that. So this whole thing about animals and women not working, right? I personally think, yeah, dude, women were probably better off. A lot of women will tell you today they would love to be fucking homemakers and housewives and not have to go fucking work for hours and hours and hours. Lots of women will tell you, man, they'd rather be sitting at home, fucking help, you know, looking after.
I could show you a lot of men that want to do nothing as well, bro. I could show you millions of men that want to sit down and play masturbate. Millions of them. I'll show you millions and millions of them, bro.
If somebody's got to earn the money, dude, and somebody's going to have to raise the kids and create a good household, like, generally speaking, dude, yeah, it is probably going to work better if it's the guy out earning the
Alright,
fees.
so let's get this right. So you want 50% of a population just to have the right to stay at home because of what reason? And what kind of role model is that going to set?
Dude, and then,
those
like I said, it's
children?
the family structure. You got the woman looking after the kids,
Yeah.
looking after you, looking after the house, looking after cooking,
totally
cleaning,
disagree.
doing all, looking after, like, educating the kids. You know, when they go to school, dude, yeah, right? What happens, right? They are basically given, they're brainwashed, right, to think whatever the school is telling them. Do you understand? Instead, they could be at home with the mother with the family. Do you know what I mean? Being educated there. School, you get me? Like, you can be homeschooled, dude. A lot of people do it.
Oh, so wait, let's get this right. Let's get this right. So these people that you want to stay at home, they need to be educated enough to educate your young ones to a standard that you expect to be allowed to go. Do you see where the conundrum starts to fall
It's
there?
a good question. I see what you're doing.
You see, you
So basically, you're
need
saying where
people
they're
in
gonna
great industry, like doctors, like physicians. These are the people that will be able to teach a curriculum with so much ease. It wouldn't be an effort for them to be educated, and then you'll get more smarter kids that will get involved in more smart industry
I'm not talking
that
about
will then progress us.
educated to doctor level, but okay,
No,
cool.
I
Anyway,
don't.
Banksy,
Listen,
do you
no
understand what I'm
one's
talking about?
no one's got an issue if a woman doesn't want to be educated to that extent of her becoming an engineer. But my fight is that woman, every fucking woman, every man, every woman should have the right to be highly educated if they have the potential to.
Yeah,
100%.
of course. And the right to work too, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, and a right to that career, and not disrupt her natural order. So if she wishes to be a mum, yes, fucking make it so. Like, what's so hard about putting a creche beside her workplace or her college?
No.
Oh my
the thing
God,
is,
that's rocket science.
Hassan. This is where I disagree with your assessment of like women being at work and trying to be mothers. I don't think you're capable of doing both of them, and you'll do both of them half-assed. No, I honestly think that children who have mothers who are extremely career orientated are going to miss out. They are fundamentally going to miss out on a portion of their offering.
But you actually mean that you can't do it well. That's what it means. You can't do both really well.
Yeah,
you
can
do anything
and you
in an
can
extreme,
raise kids, but you can't do it.
It's going to be done badly.
Right? Like,
yeah, but that's what's been proven anyway. Well, I mean, it's been proven mostly that single mothers are the worst situation to raise children. That is categorically been proven. But
so how? Because they've not got their family structure. The single mums tend to be away. See, this is not again. This is not. We're making laws for a very few minorities here. Like a single mum, I don't give a fuck about what the single mum does. Tough shit. You made some bad decisions, man. Make better ones.
No,
my decisions on the average of all women.
Triller, guys, one at a time. Hold on. Pause for a second.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
It's got to be for all of the people, not just ones that make bad decisions.
Yeah, but right now we have vast numbers of single parents, single mothers, and the government is trying to assist them with housing, with this. In fact, they are maybe unintentionally have set up a scheme to encourage single parenthood, because if you're a single mother in this country, for sure, you get a house, you get benefits, you get child benefit, all of these things, and you just sit on your ass and raise like a kid. Maybe, and not only that, you might actually have to go to work, but that will put your child at a massive disadvantage socially.
Dude, a lot of this stuff is common sense as well. Like, hold on. Sorry, Hassan, 1 second. There were some Caribbean women as well, right? That I spoke to one the other day. She's raised her kids. Kids over 20, whatever. And she was like telling me that, I was a single mum. You get me, raising a child. And like I had to be strict with him. You get me? Otherwise, I didn't want this kid get in trouble with the police. You get me? I needed him to get a good education, have a good life. So I had to be strict. And so she applied common sense, and she was a lovely lady to speak to me. When we had a convo. But when it come down to like her telling me about a kid, I completely understood. Like sometimes you gotta be, and there are women out there that are single mothers that have the ability to raise their kids really fucking well.
No, but
you know what I mean?
Triller, you're pointing out exceptions, not the rule. The demographic, the actual statistics.
And that woman who's working as well. She wasn't getting handouts. She was working, I know, but as a nurse and everything.
I was raised largely, not entirely, but largely by my mum, and my brothers were, and we all end up getting degrees, and none of us are felons, and we did okay in our lives. And so she raised extremely good sons as far as productive members of society or well-adjusted people. Considering she had to work as well, I remember having to look after my brothers when they were children because I was the eldest. But that's not the rule. Those are exceptions. The statistics are out on single parents. And the statistics, dude, these statistics exist.
What are the stats?
But you guys
the
become
stats are
statistics
the
through
most amount,
engineering.
the largest. Hold on.
This is where.
Hold on. The largest number of juvenile delinquents come from single parents. The largest number of shooters, school shooters, and crazy, shooters in America are from single parents. The most amount of men in prison are from single parents. The crime statistics simply indicate that raising a child in a single parent household is an absolute disadvantage to that child. That's where they come from.
Agreed.
They come from the FBI statistics. They come from the British Department of Ministry of Homeland
Security. If you're allowing these to be too easy to bring single children into society, and then giving them no resources, giving them bad nutritional food, giving them a bad environment to be raised in, what are you expecting the outcome to be?
What are you saying? Are you saying that the mothers are doing this on purpose, or are you blaming the government?
I'm saying
whose fault is it that they're getting these bad nutritions?
Who else is there? If it's the government, if it's not government, what mother do you know that wants to raise a bad child?
No, it is the bad. It's the mother's fault for picking a bad man.
It's the mother's fault.
No, it is. It's 100% the mother's fault.
Again, how are these bad men? Men that have got no opportunity for a job.
How are you blaming the mother?
Okay, I'll explain why I'm blaming the mother. Hold on. The reason I blame the mother
for decent jobs. There's no opportunities for decent jobs. The food nutrition is bad. You got people promoting gambling far more than a decent job and an education. Again, if this is engineered for these problems to occur,
the
where
problem
are
is,
these
Hassan,
bad men?
Hassan, if this was engineered by the government, you would see those same numbers in children who are raised by fathers and mothers in two-parent households or multi-parent households.
Because their
there's a
system's engineered that way, yeah? So their system's engineered the same way it's engineered for the single-parent person.
No.
Yeah? Is that what you're telling me?
No, what I'm telling you is that if it was a force...
How are they the same?
Listen, if there was a force that was making bad men and criminals that was outside of the family, then that would have been represented and it would have reflected
Banksy, listen.
Children without single parents.
Wait, I'll get 1 minute, 1 second. We've got a company that makes marijuana in England. All right. Okay, I'm not going to mention the company's name, but we've got some guy in East Ham growing a little bit. That company allowed to make it. The guy in East Ham gets
exporting is different.
What has nothing to do with it?
He gets 18 months of him going. That's his life over.
They're not selling it in the UK. You don't know. They got licenses to.
Oh my God, Almighty! But what? Please, they sell it here as well.
Look, the thing is now
what you can prove and what is
legal.
I'm
saying guys, we're getting sidetracked. We're getting sidetracked. What I'm trying to tell you
is the married person that's got this family and is supported by those kind of industry. That guy that wants to support his family is trying to make his industry.
Yeah, he shouldn't be supporting his family by selling marijuana.
How is this?
It's like saying, well, I've got a brothel, and I'm supporting my children, but these governments come and shut my brothel down, and I can't support my children.
Most simple example: you're married, you're allowed to whore out your wife, but if you've got a boyfriend, you're not allowed to whore out your girlfriend.
Dude, you're not allowed to whore out your wife. Who said you're allowed to whore out your wife? What laws are you looking at?
It's legal, bro.
It's legal to prostitute your wife.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's legal to prostitute a single woman in the house while there's a male occupant. That's where the legal
Are you-
side
are you
comes in.
serious?
Worried about what's going on in your house
Check
right
it
now,
out.
man. Like,
If
what
you're
are you doing?
married, you can hire your wife out for prostitution.
I'm saying that is what the
I-
law is.
I am highly.
And you're saying
I am going to call bullshit
and
on
you're
that.
saying it's equal. I'm saying, mate, I'm not the one that's saying equal. I'm saying it is totally not a system that everyone needs to be advocating for. It's fuck. Why people
Angel
champion
Moon,
this is
Angel
beyond
Moon,
me.
your camera is on. Your camera is on. Turn off your camera.
Yeah.
Hold on. Angel, turn off your camera. Okay.
Else talk.
Okay, her camera is off now. Okay,
Anyway, it was
let me just okay. MC, you haven't talked for a while. War, go on, and then I want to bring Angel in on this conversation.
Anyway, Hassan, aka Peace, sounded a little bit like, like you be coming from Borat, Kazakhstan. Well, I can prostitute my wife to get money.
It's all true, bro.
It's all true.
I wish you.
I need more evidence on this. I need someone Google this shit for me. You can. You're saying you can prostitute your wife.
No, I said that a single man could prostitute a woman in a single occupant house. That part is true.
How? I literally offer it to other men.
Bro, don't ask me why it's legal. I'm not an advocate for this law. I would rather.
Where did you see this law? Can I look it up?
I'd rather it weren't there. I want to be honest there, but I know that law to be there. That's
okay. Could you bring me that law or anyone in chat?
Up and running. This is how these.
Because I'm not buying this one.
Houses have this law implemented, and how the police use it when they find more than one woman in there, they could close them down. Like, this is the law. Don't look at me and go, oh, this law. No, I didn't make the fucking law. I didn't fucking make the law. But that's the law. And what I'm trying to say is that these are the things that make this. And again, it's not that you can prostitute your wife is a good thing. No, don't do that. But I'm saying these are what the advantages of being in that situation are, which is
Hassan, I think
slightly alarming when people are saying that, well, what's your benefit? There's your benefit.
Okay. Guys, let me bring in Angel.
You're not understanding it.
Really, like Britain would be changed to Borat's Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'm highly skeptical of that. I'm gonna have to check that out. But in the meanwhile, hello, Angel. How are you?
Hello there. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I just wanted to bring in to put a bit of yin and yang in the conversation. But I wanted to say also, Triller, I agree with him, what he said tonight, very much. You know, that if I had my way again, I would have homeschooled my kids. But, you know, at the time, like, I'm 63 now, just in October, right? And, yeah, you know, on reflection, I can understand now, as you get older, that it's so sad that you had to, at the time, think, I want my kids to have better than me. So, you know, to own a home and put your kids through a good education, you had to have money to do that. So you had to go out and work to do that. But I see now in my heart, you know, it was the wrong thing to do. Yeah, it's just like like maybe people with millions that send their kids off to, you know, like private schools, like boarding schools. It's the wrong thing to do. You should be there, you know, closer to your kids, definitely. So I agree with Triller, definitely, yeah.
Hey man, you really warmed me up today, Moon. I swear to God, I wasn't expecting that. Firstly, that was really, really kind of like heartwarming, man, to listen to. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's only on reflection, isn't it? When you get older, that you realise what you've missed, how life is, you know, very short. So, you know, those precious times that you should have been like there with your kids, you know, instead of sending them to nursery or after school play, and you know, because you're having to work your business, you can never get it back, can you?
Yeah, it's true. It's like it just takes one little thing to like scar your kid for life, right? It could be anything. Like, you could have the best intentions, right? You might send your kid away, for example, for the best reasons, but when they come back to you and they see you, they don't recognize you, whatever, they're not going to get it. And like, or whatever it is, you get me, you might discipline your child or whatever, and that will stay with them forever. Like there are so many things, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But,
like kids are so
you know,
impressionable.
Yeah. But do you know what I've come to learn? Like by sort of joining loads and loads of dots like a jigsaw, is that we don't even rule our own thoughts, through religion and through government stuff, especially we can see what's going on at the moment. But as I was saying in the chat, which I think, it's not discussed enough, is like, the long march through the institutions that we were warned about in the 80s by a Russian defector that actually came over and warned us that there was going to be this long march through the institutions. And we can all see, in the last, we've heard of Common Purpose as well, that they were pushing this long march through the institutions. And obviously, all these people that are coming out of, sadly, with lots of debt out of universities, they're coming out with this, well, we call it a Marxist ideology now, which is going to influence the next generation of leaders, obviously. So this has been going on for years, and I don't know why we're so surprised it's happening in a way. What do you think? I don't know.
What do you think? Now, what do you mean by Marxist, though?
That's what I'm saying. Is I don't personally think they're titling it Marxist, aren't they? This long march. You've heard it from a lot of places. It's all Marxism. All this ideology that's coming to fore at the moment. But I just think obviously it's the agenda from the World Economic Forum. I don't know if there might be people above them, but I don't know. But it's obviously. I mean, I learned last week, and I think this is a really thing that Banksy, I'd like you and Manny to talk about on Speaker's Corner, online, is that Rishi Sunak's father-in-law, he is the COE of a company called Infosys, like Infosys they call it, and they actually developed the programs for the Chinese social credit score system. Now that's a biggie, isn't it? What do you think about that one?
Oh, yeah. He's a billionaire at the end of the day. He comes from a business background, like So
yeah, but that connection's a bit weird, isn't it? Don't you think? No. So then Rishi straight away is coming out with, oh yeah, we're going to have digital currency from the Bank of England. You know what I mean? Wow. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in.
No. I mean, at the end of the day, like I basically like it when people basically bring up, any, shed some light on anything, right? When it comes down to the Conservatives' politics and everything else, right? I think everything is worth looking into, 100%. But when it comes down to it, I mean, generally speaking, with the Conservatives, right? Like we've all got a problem when it comes down to the economy. We want to have a stronger economy. We want to have, a better system that way. Basically, it's more equal, more level for everybody. I mean, voting for the Tories isn't really going to work, right? But it's happening. They've won consecutively, and more people are going towards, are voting more towards them. You know what I mean? They're leaning more towards that. Was it left?
I think more so than
most. So like,
yeah. Sorry, I thought you finished.
No, I was going to say because the Tories are going to lean more to the left, right? To try what? The public are going to lean more to the left, yeah. But end of the day, with the Tories are. What, you think that they're not going to try and be a little bit more appealing towards the public? To get the votes, of course. So it's all a fucking game at the end of the day. The Labour, right? What the Labour fucking doing? The Labour are literally doing the same thing the Tories are doing. And it's just mad. Like everyone's
and vice versa. Yeah, and vice versa. There is no right or left wing anymore. It's the whole herd with it at the moment.
It's all the fucking same. It's just mad.
It is, and I think the people understand that. I think we see it. I mean, my God, 12 years of Tory rule, and they've still got the migrants flooding in, and you know, it's obviously to me it's an invasion. Obviously, it's an invasion, isn't it? It's a government-sanctioned invasion. What's going on, and not just in our
Can
country.
I ask one question? How does an invasion happen, like at this scale? Because this is the bit I've always wanted. This is the bit I've always wanted to cover, because I just know one thing: there's no way that you could do this to any other nation. All right, let's just all go 30,000. Let's get on a boat and invade any other country. That would never happen. Again, what freaks me out, and me and my partner talk about this quite a lot, is that this is orchestrated not by the invaders. This is orchestrated from higher levels than that. So, and again, we still allow people to make the same laws that allow us to be invaded, and then we go, oh, but it's the fucking working class. Oh yeah, them scumbags that are raising single parents are these are the bane of our society. No, this is what I mean. Like, this is the comedy of it all.
Yeah, that's true. I think that is very true, Hassan. A lot of people actually.
Yeah, it's the politicians, Hassan, that are got to be held accountable for all this shit. Nobody else.
Well, I don't think it's the politician, bro. It's above them. It's well above them.
Yeah,
it's well above them. They're just mouthpiece of the art.
Right? Yeah, it's like, what are people going to do? Like, basically, believe in conspiracy theories. Like, we're forced to have to choose between conspiracy theories or you know what I mean? Or what, like, you know what I mean? 'Cause at the end of the day, dude, we've got a political system in place. We've got a legal system in place. We've got a certain system that if
sounds like you got division in place.
The fucking system. Like, what the fuck?
But wait, hold on. Wait, so I might get correct in answering that.
What are we gonna do? How are we gonna fix anything?
Very easy.
System,
you make a system that works. Well, all right, so let's get this right.
How the fuck are we gonna make a system, dude? All we can do is work with what we got.
Hold on,
dude.
wait, no. What do you mean? You can't make systems that work? Is that what you're saying?
What are we gonna do? I'm saying be realistic.
We've got a legal system. Are you saying we can't make systems? Hold on. Are you saying that we can't make systems that work? Or do we just go with a system that's not working?
Reform? Because the only way you're gonna get some reformation
is
by
hard about that?
Reformation.
Why do you need to talk about reformation and reparation?
Like, literally,
you just got to change the system.
How the fuck are you going to change it without reforming things through things like reformations and whatnot? You got to have like ways of doing
again, though,
you can't just fucking one day get up and decide I'm going to be Adolf Hitler today, and I'm going to fucking do what I like.
This is the system that you guys want to portray. There's loads of people that tomorrow the euro came in to the franc, the mark. Oh, how did that fucking happen? Oh, all this reparation, and but it happened. It happened. Oh, no smoking in cigarettes. How's that going to happen? Everyone's smoking. It happened. How did capitalism leave a country and became communism? Oh, it happened.
Israel.
It happened.
Israel.
It happened.
Yeah.
How did they get a whole load of freedom supporting people put masks on, go get themselves voluntarily jabbed up, voluntarily stayed indoors? How? But it happened. How? This is what I mean. It's all this. It can't happen. Yeah, it can happen, bro. You just gotta want to change it. Fuck what their bill is. If their bill is that, just say stick your bill up your ass, bro. That's not my bill. That's yours.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. It's that you can't do. Yeah, you can, bro.
We've been warned constantly by people, and a lot of people that get warners get shut down. Loads of them, let's face it, or shot even. You know what I mean, and killed. And that's the truth.
Yeah, because, dude, see, the funny thing is, you're all fucking immigrants, innit? Right? So you're all fucking bigots, aren't you?
What do you mean we're all bigots?
I don't know.
Like,
how's it
end of the day, like, we're all fucking in this country. We're all fucking immigrants, right?
Really?
You know what I mean? So
who's actually English, bro?
About people fucking coming in now.
Who's actually English?
Like, this is the thing.
Who's actually English?
At the end of the day, the people to blame are going to be the fucking politicians, you know, but you're blaming the fucking refugees. It's just fucking stupid.
No.
I'm not blaming the refugees. My issue ain't what the refugees or the numbers.
Or you're blaming the fucking voters or whatever.
Guys,
it's the politicians that make the fucking rules, isn't it? Blame them, that's it.
Guys,
No,
one
no,
at a
I
time.
think you're wrong there. I think you're very wrong there. I think that was a really leftist emotional outburst, to be honest with you.
It's not an outburst. I'm just fucking. It's a logical thing. I've been saying the same thing for fucking years.
You're very wrong. No, I think you're very wrong. I think people understand. You know, I'm sure that Banksy and Hassan and most of the people that are listening will understand. It's above any politician, any of this, and you know, it's not the migrants, but I do believe. Why are they flooding? You know, young men. Why young men? You know what I mean? Into all.
I'll be honest here. I'll tell you the reason why it's all the men, because you know what? Any smart woman, there's not a woman out there that's stupid enough to go on that journey, bro. I'm telling you, you know that journey. I swear to God, if it was for a woman, you know what that means? That means getting raped from point A to point Z, bro. That's what that journey is going to involve. That, all right? Well, you're going to put them in front of fighting age men, okay, that are on a fucking mission to get somewhere, and you want to put a woman, man. That's the reason why there's no women in there.
I mean, even if it's for the reason just for a better life, even if it's for the reason for a better life, you know, nobody's going to blame anybody for that, you know, reason at all. But obviously, you know, for them flooding in for a better life for them is obviously going to decrease the life and put up the taxes of the people that are actually living here, you know, and working there, you know, to actually facilitate them. And they didn't get a choice in it. That's the thing. Nobody ever asked them, you know, do they want this to happen? This is a.
I think they're trying to bankrupt us. Yeah. Personally, anyway, I genuinely do believe it's to bankrupt the nation.
Yeah, but look, one thing I learned about when it comes to these, what's it called? Reformations, right? You know, these things, right, are always one thing. The first thing I learned when I studied politics, right, was simply that they never held a referendum unless they already know what the outcome is going to be. They'll never do it.
That's bollocks.
Even if the whole Brexit thing was a close call.
So what you think that they knew?
Decision was going to
they
be.
knew that we wanted to be out the EU.
You know. I mean, end of the day, look how many Tories
we're not out of the EU.
Being Prime Minister.
Hold on, we had a referendum to leave it. Why are we still in it? They didn't know. So
even
didn't know that.
Well, they did, didn't they? They did make some reforms. And they've been in it for a long time. But when it comes down to it, as soon as that Liz got in power, right? She was basically calling for fucking, you know, more immigrants coming from India and everywhere else, right? So. Like, it's just mad, the whole Brexit thing. I think Nigel Farage made a whole thing about that, saying, well, what the fuck did we do Brexit for if we're just going to let in a whole new bunch of people from another country?
That's why the biggest thing that we need to do, you know, in Western countries is to have accountability and use direct democracy. Seriously, you know, this representative democracy is a joke. It's an absolute joke. You're actually... like, you know, putting in these people. I mean, look at Rishi at the moment. It's the same that happened in Ireland. You know, you had Leo Varadkar. He wasn't actually voted in by the people. Rishi's not been voted in by the people.
The thing is,
it's a joke.
Sorry, Angel. Let me just interject with the direct democracy thing. The problem is with direct democracy, and this is something people found out very earlier on, back in the times of the Greeks, is that you would effectively have mob rule, so the majority would always suppress the minority. And that is why most successful democracies are not really democracies at all. They are mostly like republics or representative democracies, or in the case of Britain, a constitutional monarchy. So unfortunately, a direct democracy can't operate in a large enough sort of group, because the majority will always oppress the minority.
But you know what would you say then, you know, Banksy? I mean, I just
got to have loads of places that have got types of democracy.
Hold on, Hassan. Let Angel finish. Sorry, let Angel finish, and then come in.
I think of Iceland as, you know, when I'm thinking about direct democracy, and remember, you know, after the crash of 2008, you know, the people, they just went out and, you know, especially women, banged their things and got them out of government. Do you know what I mean? And that was a direct democracy. You know, like sort of saying, if you're failing within the time you're out, But in British, in British, which is
Sorry, hold on. Triller, are you talking to us or is this a background noise? Yeah, okay, he's muted up. Okay, sorry, Angel. Yeah, I mean, you said in 2008.
It was, yeah, in 2000. It was about 2008, wasn't it? You know that. You remember when the crash? I think it was after
the banking.
Crash, obviously. Yeah, after the banking crash, and Iceland, you know, they threw out their government. You know what I mean? And they implemented. And I understand that.
But you got to realize
it's only a small. It's only a small thing, but
exactly.
That's the beauty of it, though.
No, but Angel,
it's like, you know, the coupons.
That's the problem, Angel.
Yeah,
these certain things work.
Okay.
The thing is, certain systems work depending on the size of the population. For example, communism. Communism works up until about, I forgot, it was like a 1,000 people group. You can work in that by up to like a certain number of people. It'll work fine. As you get beyond that, it inevitably becomes a dictatorship because you are unable to manage beyond a certain number. Sorry?
But that's what direct democracy is about, is like reducing the government. You know, like you have parishes, you have, you know, counts, townships, then you have shires, then you have the country. So, you know, it's all about, you know, reducing. I honestly do believe, like when I was growing up, you know, it was just in South Yorkshire, and it was a very Labour, you know, when Labour was Labour sort of place, and you know they would subsidise the bus fares and, you know, that sort of thing, and it, you know, it really worked because it was an industrial place at the time, you know. And I just think, you know, a town and parishes should rule their own finances rather than and
again
what's happening in their communities rather than
you're right.
Big
now
government.
You're right that this particular system in Britain can be reformed, especially the parliamentary system, especially the first past the post. We need to have a more of I mean, there's a lot of problems with the parliamentary system that we currently have in Britain and the way they can elect effectively their leaders, because select their leaders like Rishi, and the people of that country don't have a choice but to accept this person as our prime minister, whether we voted for him or not. So yes, there are problems, and yes, we should have more of a proportional system, like the way you elect your European MPs. That is much more of a proportional system than it is the one that we have in Britain. It is true that the British first past the post is literally designed in order to keep a certain group, certain parties in power. So a reform of that can happen, but direct democracy, unfortunately, on a population the size of Britain, which is like nearly 70 million, doesn't work. The majority would oppress the minority.
But why though? I mean, like you've got your, like you say, you've got your councils, then you've got your, you know, shires or whatever. You know, you can. Yeah, look, you can have, not even on that level, you could say even direct democracy would necessarily work, because London, like if you have direct democracy on London's a 10 billion population. That's a massive population group to be able to have any kind of direct democracy operating. Sorry? Yeah, it's district. It's like counting the votes, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, it's just the same. I mean, you know, exactly. You know, but how does you know, like I love watching elections and stuff. Like, how does the British, you know, manage to count the votes and we know it the next day who's got what? Whereas, like, look at these with the American, you know, things, and it happens in Ireland too. You know, it amazes me how they don't like scrutinize it and watch. It's you've got to. How could you not be like sort of thinking there's something fishy going on here?
Well, there is something fishy going on, and that is why a place like Florida can have everything, all the votes counted in like a day. And Nevada, which actually no, Arizona, we're still waiting for the results of the governor to come in. Results of the Senate has been settled.
And not only that, Banksy, I mean, like, I've been really, like, watching this, and I've tried, like, Googling, news on, who won this, did Kerry Lake win? And I don't know yet.
No, they don't know. It hasn't been called.
A little correction, Banksy. According to Politico, at least, Arizona turned blue.
No, but which one? The
no.
Senate, the House, or the governor?
Just a moment.
Because if you look at Google, you'll find that they've called the Senate. The senator is blue, but they haven't called the governor yet with Kerry Lake, which Kerry Lake is running as a governor. She's not running for the Senate or the House. And the House is kind of a mixed bag in Arizona at the moment. It's mostly red.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because it's different. It's
Look, I just
different
want to say that we've already got one with a stroke as a prime minister. We can't have a vice prime minister.
Literally, I mean, I wrote that on Twitter. I said, that's it. I'm done with America. I'm done with this fucking planet. They voted a man with brain damage to be a senator. How is this a fucking thing in this planet?
I mean, you might be
unbelievable.
Fucking half the people out there. I don't know. But like,
sorry, Hassan.
Going back one step before you go onto your thing, yeah. Like, when you're talking about immigration and all this stuff, right? Like, don't you think? I mean, generally every country has a problem. Well, not every, but a lot of countries have a problem with immigration, especially countries that are prospering, doing quite well. Saudi Arabia, for example, has a problem with immigration, and their men are basically a lot of the men are out of work. In Saudi Arabia. So, it's not just the UK and this and that. Like, lots of countries are going through this. And with this whole global movement thing, right? Like, generally speaking, you can't really stop the movement of people. I mean, this is a fucking, throughout the dawn of time, like, people have been migrating and they have every fucking right to migrate.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. I think it's a bit deeper than that. Absolutely deeper.
Yes, we can, and we did stop it. We stopped it on our borders with Belarus.
Who's we?
I mean, we in Poland stopped it on our borders with Kaliningrad and with Belarus. So the Russians are not allowed at all, even to come to our country as tourists to visit. So yes, we did.
Okay, you might have done something, but at the end of the day, look, lines were drawn, right? Especially like after World War II. And everything else, right? There was a lot more control put in place for this and that. But generally speaking, when it comes to migration, right, of people, through economic factors, like, for example, I don't know, we got the World Cup coming, right? 2020, yeah. And what happened? A lot of those stadiums were built on fucking people, basically some sort of, slave labor. Like a lot of the immigrants that were coming in from India, Nepal, and countries like that. They were basically having to pay about 4,000 fucking pounds, right? Just to like get into the country to basically work, and then they were fucking not even paid. They were underpaid, and some of them died. In the process of building these places, treated like shit. Basically, just doing some slave labor shit out there, and they spent fucking How much billions did they spend? They spent more billions on this one. Is ridiculous. Like, I don't know how much they said. It was like 520 billion, I think they spent on the construction of stadiums. And then on top of that, they're actually saying that those costs were actually triple that, simply because they couldn't fucking they had to, the air conditioning of the stadiums and everything else, and getting the grass right, all this shit. Like, the price just went triple from there. So God knows how much money they spent, and the workers that were freaking made to, were underpaid or hardly even paid at all, and lost their lives in the process.
Well, because that's for mass immigration is for to get people for substandard pensions, substandard salaries, etc. What do you think it is for?
Well said.
So all the countries are doing it.
Come on, you've got to understand that. If you look back on history, that's what they're doing. They're just, throwing us around the chessboard like pawns.
Right. So that's what the politicians in the UK are doing. The politicians in the UK are doing exactly the same thing, right? They know that your wages are going to be lower if they're bringing in people that are basically from different countries that are going to work longer hours, work harder, and basically work for less pay. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Then somebody from a British background. So what the fuck do you think the politicians are going to do? The people at the top, right? The entrepreneurs, the businessmen.
I'm sorry,
you know what I mean? Whatever classes, the top classes, they're the ones that are going to basically benefit from this. Who are the Tories looking out for? They're fucking business partners. So it's fucking obvious. I mean, who to blame? The fucking politicians, not the fucking people.
I have to defend Britain from this accusation that it's only in Britain. Not true. We did the same to Ukrainians for a few years before that war started. I mean, before it erupted a few months ago. We did the same to them. What do you have to say about it, Trula?
Sorry, I didn't catch it. Sorry, I had Ukrainians, and then I just kind of didn't.
Yes, we in Poland use Ukrainians also as a cheap immigrant labor. Okay, they are basically our Poles now. Like you know, like we were yours, but for like much time they are ours, and they are used as a cheap labor. And what are you going to say about that?
Yeah. What's your point?
My point is that it's all around the world. That's what immigrants are looked at for. That's why those borders are so easily open, because that's what they want: cheap, almost slave labor.
Yeah, but we know that. Yeah, so
and no one's concerned that people could just become slaves.
Policies that they, you know what I mean, implement.
No one's concerned about that. No. How these great nations once were, now are slaves. In Libya, you got slave markets where once upon a time they used to be driving Bentley Continentals down there. No one's worried about that. They're just happy enough to just keep using slave labor. Yeah. I think this is what another thing that needs to this entitlement of Western thought process. Like eventually, it's going to come around and bite us in our own arse. Like you do get that story that's just going to come round and do that. Anyway,
were you just cutting up the cocaine there? I just heard some tap tap tap. I'm only joking.
No, just grinding my weed.
I'm just joking.
Grinding my weed. All right.
I thought you were doing something to do with drugs. I went completely wrong.
The truth is, we've never not been slaves, have we? You know, when you talk about all the industrial era, and before that, we've never not been slaves.
I think you people living in that island were not slaves right from the Roman times, at least for a few hundred, more than 1,000 years, like vastly more. So yes. It was a long time ago.
The minute you pay tax, you're a slave as well, aren't you? Let's face it. If it's not, tax to the piece of land that you're growing vegetables on, to your home, to your food, of course. And then we don't get a say what happens to the tax, do we? There's no referendum.
So we did though, didn't we? That was the way the swing that we did though, didn't we? Like, I don't understand horrible, like our predecessors, like for example my mum and my father, they wouldn't have accepted this shit.
Oh no,
but we are.
Wouldn't. But within the
and migration wasn't a problem then. Like I always hang on when I hear people talk about migration, like what 1940s migration, what that problem, the problem that came with 1940s, that migration. But no, that wasn't a problem. So how is this a problem? It's a problem because it's designed to be a problem. Like, for example, Serkov making billions on it and not letting your community, like, for example, local landlords would have made money, local shops would have made money, local cottage industry would have made money on these immigrants that were coming down and just, if there was work, but it's not now for work. Like, there's no work here, there's no work there, there's no work anywhere.
Thingy, I got a question to, what's his name, the Polish guy, right? Do you think it's a coincidence that Auschwitz was in Poland?
No, it wasn't a coincidence because they were the most used slaves. Strategically, they were the most used in Poland. So Auschwitz was economically the best place to build that camp. Because where should they build it? in France, when there was not as much Jews, you know how vast the Jewish diaspora was in Poland. It was like 3 million. It was the, how to say it.
But aren't Poles anti-Jewish, generally speaking?
Yeah, said by a
because of
guy
the
from a
Catholicism
Muslim ancestry
and stuff. No.
Oh, the Western stereotype about Eastern Europe. Well, I should be honest with you, like all Europeans through history. We just didn't want them here, like all Europeans.
Yeah, like you don't want the Muslims right now.
Well,
just that the Western Europeans aren't that open about it.
It's just entitled.
And I'm
thinking,
sure
isn't
the
it?
pagans thought like that. I'm sure the pagans thought like that before, like, you know, say in Ireland where before St. Patrick came, or in, you know, in England. I don't know who started it there, but, you know, probably one of the wives that Henry, I don't know. But anyway, of course, nobody wants change like that, because change is obviously going to affect your consciousness, affect your mind, affect your family, affect everything, isn't it? Affect you every bit of your way of life. And
I'll be
that's
honest
what
with you.
happened to the pagans.
People
Yeah,
should
it's
worry
the same
about
thing.
change, but they shouldn't always assume it's going to be the worst. I'll be honest, like, I look at what England looked like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and you know what? It's evolving, and it's not because of any other reason than immigration. Like, we learn better, we understand better, and because we understand better, we're easier to adapt to situations that are coming. Now, I'm not for uncontrolled, unvetted immigration. There should be some form of policy and plans in place for this. But as in regards to worrying about immigration, that's just absolutely mad. You want to worry about the policy makers that are making that immigration happen. That's where your problems are, not.
Yeah, it has to. There's a massive difference between, you know, illegal immigration than, you know, legal, isn't there? There's a massive difference. Because, like, you know, obviously,
I'll be honest with you. How do you legally go into Australia? How do you legally go into that country? This is what I'm saying. Like I mean, it's got to be to a point that
you have to sign.
Frida made a lovely point. How do you stop a person from wanting to come into your land? Like, you can't. You just can't. According to the religious people, and I'm not a religious person, but it's supposed to be a God-given fucking right. So if that's their God-given right, then how do you stop it? What you got to do is you just got to adapt. Like, for example, like me, if I knew that there was loads of people coming from a place, I'd much rather go and big up that place and make that place more like my place. So there's no reason for that cunt to come here.
Sorry,
why do you want to come there?
It's not your God-given right to go anywhere in the world. It's literally throughout centuries, people have put up walls and bridges and moats to keep people from coming in.
People have gone through them walls and made machines that ram them walls.
Yes, and it's called war. And people have killed other people who try to penetrate their wall or come into their country or come into their home.
This guy coming into their country.
Well, in that case, if it's your, the thing is, Hassan, that there's a logical, unfortunately, conclusion to this, which I don't think you're going to like. The logical conclusion, if you're starting with the premise that it is your God-given right to go to any country that you want, well, it's my God-given right to go into any house I want. I want you to start taking the locks out of your door. Why have you got locks on your door?
That's why we got locks.
Oh, Banksy,
no one could stop someone from coming into your house, Banksy.
Can I just say something?
No one can stop you from coming to your house except you.
No one can. And the reason, what you got to make it do is make it unattractive enough for them to not want to come into your house. Like, for example, when we go over, the idea of going to someone's house and stealing everything from theirs and then bringing it into your house and then thinking, oh, look, this is the God-given right, this is my house now, no one can come into it. That's a very bizarre concept as well, but people seem to have that as well, just because it's in my house.
Wait a minute. So you're saying
my shit is in your house.
Your
It's like
general
the table.
premise
shit is in
is
your
that
house.
don't make your place attractive for people to want to come into. So I should
No,
turn
make their
my
place
house
good
or
enough.
my country
Make
into
their
a
place.
shithole, the same as Somalia, so that the Somalis won't be attracted to come to my country.
Make their country as nice as yours.
No, why? This is
Or
not
make their
up. It is
country
not
as
an
nice as yours.
obligation on me to make Somalia a better country. It is up to Somalians to make Somalia a better
Exactly.
country. It's not my fault that Somalia is a shithole.
so-
It is Somalia's fault that
You-
Somalia is a
newsflash,
shithole.
It tends to
This is the
be
story.
the richer power to make Somalia a shithole.
God. Let me tell you something,
Yeah.
Banksy, please. This is the story of the little red hen. This is an Aesop fable.
I love
Yeah,
this.
but you know what,
Yeah,
you know that guy. What's his name? Who always comes here.
Please, I'm
Who's that black
talking
guy who always
now.
comes here?
Triller,
The Somalian guy.
Triller, hold for
Yeah.
1 minute. Let
Oh, sorry, I didn't know
Moon
someone was
finish her
talking now.
story because
My
she
bad.
said this is a story
sorry,
that's
man.
already been told. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were just making a point. Okay, go on.
Oh, sorry, Trilla. Listen, it's a story of the little red hen. It's an Aesop fable, I think. I'm sure it is. That that the little red hen. It was like if you don't help, gather the crops and stuff like that, then you can't, have the ability to share in the crop. Do you understand what I mean? If you don't, it's an Aesop fable.
But the reality is that person's going to want shelter and then he's going to come down and shoot you in the dark. Now,
That's
do you
happening
give
in
him it
Britain.
or do you die in the dark? There's the Aesop.
No, I will
fable
get a
just
bigger
gone to
gun
shit
and I
there.
will shoot him dead before he shoots me.
Again,
That's the point.
Everyone is prone to a mistake, and you could die alongside it.
Yeah, but you're
Hassan,
neglecting-
this
you're
is
neglecting-
unfathomable to me that you would.
Listen to this. Look, wait, and
I'm
listen.
gonna look it
Look
up.
at the mentality of entitlement rather than just getting on with it and moving on. Give him a little bit of your shelter. Why do you need to go
that's
spend
the
billions on a
problem.
big gun?
I don't have to give him shit. He doesn't. He is not
But
entitled to the
But you
benefits
are
of my
gonna give
labor.
it to the big gun owner.
Yes, then
You're
I
gonna
will
give it
get
to
a
the big
bigger
gun owner.
gun and I will kill him if he tries to take the things that I built.
Again.
This is. I
Again.
can't believe you even.
All he wanted to do is seek shelter.
I
All
don't
he
care.
wanted to do was
I don't
seek
care. He has to
shelter.
go and build his own shelter and look after his own people. It is not incumbent upon me to look after someone who
It
is
is.
delinquent, who is not capable of doing that. That is
Banksy,
literally the
like, to
laws
be
of
fair,
nature.
You had people
the
that
weak
looked
die.
after you, right? Like your parent looked after you,
Right.
right? Your family looked after you, your siblings,
Banksy,
so on and so forth, your friends.
preach.
Like you had help, right? You got out of the country, you left Iran, you got help.
Yeah.
When it comes down to other people, like end of the day, look, the world was set back, obviously after colonialism, right? Colonialism, took a lot of wealth from a lot of different countries, right, and set them
And
back
he
fucking
gave
a
it-
lot,
and he
for
gave a lot.
decades.
He
They
gave
set
a
them back
lot.
decades. So, but end of the day, like, it always goes back to, like, when you look at monuments and structure and like infrastructure in all these European cities and so on, countries, right? That's all come from the backs of Africa and Asia. Do you know what I mean? So majority anyway, and the
Subservient
Americas.
nations, man, that even
You know?
pay in kind, bro, for like being given that right.
Yeah, and
I
European
know
countries, yeah,
businesses.
definitely, yeah.
I know businesses that just because they've allowed them a passport, the guys funneling millions into that nation, millions, just because he got a yes. You're making it sound like this is that. I get there's a percentage of negative, but this comes alongside with society, bro. Like it's not any more higher than what it is in your own side, man. Like it genuinely is, and it don't take much to like get people to be rewarded into integration. Like again, these are all engineered. Like you're making it sound like these people are like different to you. How different are these people to you? You are these people. Like it kids me. People from North Korea are fucking these savages. But the South Korean ones, just you know they're the same as the North Korean, but you big these people up. But the ones just across the border, these are the savage ones.
What about this?
That's what I mean.
Like, Rishi Sunak has just like sort of said that they're going to give to like, you know, Pakistan and India and all this for our emissions through the industrial age. I mean, come on, this is money laundering. It's bullshit, isn't it? Have you heard that?
How about your BBC license is being paid to another country?
You know, and on top of that, Labour politicians are all fucking middle class.
How about
anyway.
the crimes that you commit in this country are not even countries and laws of your own? There's loads of those.
They eat and all fucking.
There's loads of that shit.
They're all
that shit. You need to get
Bullington boys. Yeah, the Bullington boys have taken over. It's true. You know, Triller's right about that. They're all, you know, they're not even the Labour. None of them are from the communities. Labour.
None of them are working class. So you complain about Rishi and this and that, but then all of them are fucking middle class anyway. Multi-millionaires.
All they want to do is push all this bloody bullshit about pronouns and, you know, LBGT and the flags and all this shit to distract them from something. It's bullshit.
Anyway, we can all agree, and I, as an outsider, am saying that to you because for now you have the leftist party, the Tories, and the left-hearted one, the Labour in your country. That's basically what you have in the political scene. And well, I'm sorry, they're going to be pushing the social justice nonsense and the alphabet A to Z community. You'll hear a lot of about them, and it will probably not end for a very long time.
Oh, and Poland got a WEF leader as well.
What?
You got a World Economic Forum leader as well, man. What are you talking about, man? And the weirdest thing is, you guys even forgot your history, where your Russian brothers saved you from Nazis, and now you're going to it. You want to spit shit.
Remember the UK, the Britain.
Bro, shut your mouth, man. We're dealing with like rich people's problems. You guys have got to get your own
history. They replaced the Nazi occupation with their own occupation, and terror and destruction. And everything what they can provide. In other words, fuck up everything, whatever they touch.
Oh yeah, but even Britain was anti-Polish at one point, right?
You're shut on your granddaddy's legacies, man. That's what you just done.
Oh please, go and suck a kosher cock.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe the boomer. Maybe the boomer and like
that's anti-Semitism. That is.
To hate the Nazis.
You could get arrested for that in this country.
I see the
sorry, but I support the existence of that state. Just to annoy Hassan, Israel is worth supporting.
And that's the weirdest thing as well, that you guys you're actually supporting them as well to go into war again. And man, anyway, Putin's got your names all over it, bro.
Even the Polish openly anti-Semitic parties before the Second World War were pro-Zionist because they wanted the Jews to get out. So
and now what? And now who you fighting for? And now who you're fighting for?
You're fighting for Tommy Robinson.
We're fighting for them now, bro.
The West
your granddad should be ashamed of you.
The West agree with Nazis. I can't, you know, like me being a boomer.
Poland's siding with them now, isn't it?
Of course.
Come on. What else is it? What else does it do?
Everybody's like fucking.
Another Soviet.
It's disgraceful.
Call me what you want, man. At least I'm honest.
Yeah, it is
Actually,
disgraceful.
Hassan, we both think that you're basically speaking more truth than everybody else here, apart from me, obviously. But
yeah, right. First of all,
you're making more sense, Hassan. Put it that way, in our opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And he's complaining about like we've got gender issues. Man, I'd rather have gender issues all day than be betraying what my grandfathers laid down their lives for, man. All day long.
Freedom, equality, and all the good stuff.
Long. Your granddad was someone that I would have had a big hug for, a lot of love for, man.
My grandfather was in the Russian, by the way.
Gender. My God, we're so programmed. We're so programmed. I listen to these things by this guy.
Those things are your problems, not ours. So I can say that.
Sorry.
No, they're not only your problems. They're our problems as well. Trust me, our gas bills are well and truly telling us that is our problem. Our money going to support your asses out there. So you could have Nazis winning is another one of our problems. And the fact that we might be all having a nuclear winter. That again is another one of our problems that we've got to share.
That is ridiculous. I have to agree with you. Like, literally, we should all be completely fucking, like against, any sort of freaking, war in terms of nuclear war or anything close to that. So, like, I mean, generally speaking, the closest that happened was with the Cuba crisis, right? At least the all the leaders were basically coming to talks to basically stop it from happening. But currently with the Ukraine and Russia and America getting involved, UK, they were actually trying to prolong the war when it comes to Biden and Boris Johnson. There's evidence of that. They basically wanted Ukraine to carry on fighting and not basically come to any sort of ceasefire. So this is a problem. Do you know what I mean? So and again, you keep poking the bear. What's going to happen? The bear is going to fucking, is going to fucking claw back.
Go drink vodka. The bear is going to go drink vodka, and later on he'll miss you trying to hit you.
Yeah, whatever. All right. More to the point, it's like having French warheads right on Scottish borders. Okay, and then having a whole load of immigrants come over and us being okay about it. No, we wouldn't. Understand me?
Isn't it funny that's what's happening in Ireland, what you just said there?
Yeah, weird. Have a couple of Soviet missiles put in Ireland. Yeah, it will be all right with that, wouldn't we? It'd all be all right with that.
The fact that the immigrants, they're not illegal immigrants, or financial immigrants that are going to Britain, then they're going to Northern Ireland, then they're coming through the border, because you can go through the border very easily. So Southern Ireland has never been its own place, to be honest with you. It's always been controlled by Britain, and that's the truth. Yeah. So that's what's happening. It doesn't even matter whether it's happening where we are. It's happening everywhere in the West, and we all know it. You just look at you can look at American politics. It's happening there, and it's to sort of get rid of cultures as well. Homogenize us all. And
I think we need that.
We want that.
I genuinely do. I wish that would accelerate so quick that if we do time walk through that. Because you know the thing that really hurts me? That I'm different to you. This is why people, the first excuse
and
that I hear,
and it's a shame that there's British people that think
why am I? Because how are you different? How are you different, bro?
What?
When you shit different, you shit on your head.
We should be Britain is a far better country than a lot of other European nations, right? Like, depending, right, how you look at it. But generally speaking, we've got a lot of I find myself to be quite lucky in this country. But you've got a lot of freedom, right? Access to freedom compared to other European countries, right? And so I feel quite privileged to be here, grateful to be here, and I was born here, obviously. Yeah. So like when it comes down to it, people who don't share those kind of sentiments, I feel like, what, man. Like they just want to get rid of everybody so that they can have a better life. Like this country was made on the backs of immigrants. You get me? Completely, and it's going to continue to basically work in that way. So you got to accept it. You're trying to basically stop that from happening. Again, you have to stop the politicians. You have to stop, the European nations that are allowing, the migrants to basically travel through based on, immigration, asylum, whatever it is. Yeah. Right, and to basically get on rubber dinghies and come over to the UK. So like,
Do you think
this is a
that's a good
problem with the
thing?
politicians. This is a problem with the powers that be. In you could say these are all NATO countries, by the way. So if you're talking about security, defense, and everything else, dude, this is all NATO. This is all freaking the EU. This is all freaking
I
all these
agree with
countries,
that.
all the politicians. Yeah. What
Yeah, I
we
agree with
don't,
that. But
what
do you
can we
think
do
that's a
about
good
it?
thing?
All we can do is raise awareness and say, cool, blame the politicians. Yeah.
No, but truly, do you think that's a good thing though for the people themselves? Because like moving like, away from their culture, away from their homeland, and like then the dispelling of families and the family unit. This is what's happening at the
No,
moment. So
it's their choice.
yeah,
It's their choice.
that's
Like
not
my dad came here in '66, right? He's to start a new life. It was his choice to do so, right? He left, his parents in India and everything else, right? And to start a new life and to, like, what's wrong with that? And the country was inviting them over as well because they needed teachers, they needed doctors, they needed all sorts of people,
well,
even just bricklayers and whoever.
all right.
They
Yeah,
needed, they invited
for
all
your
these people
family,
over
Angel
from the
Moon, may I ask
Commonwealth.
something, by the way, Angel Moon, because I heard from a lot of British people that actually they didn't want all of those people from the colonies. They were just politely not telling how they really feel about it, to be honest.
well, you can't say anything now. I'm sure like you can't, can you? What can you say? You know what I mean? Like they shoot everybody down.
Yeah,
They
but
shoot you
the
down.
politicians, whenever the politicians ever cared really about what the people want, right? They do what they want, what benefits them, right?
Well, I don't think it benefits like them as a politician for the country, but yes, it benefits them as a politician for the World Economic Forum because they're not working for the people anymore. They're absolutely not.
They've never worked for the people, though.
I think you're probably right about that as well. Yeah. So that's why. I'll go back to like, if the system that we've got, we might have thought it was great, years and years and years, hundreds of years ago, and it probably was, and it actually was because it did actually send a ripple out to a lots of other places, but it's outdated now. You know what I mean? We see the corruption in it, and we don't like it. The people. And even like the people that have come here illegally, they won't like it either eventually. You know what I mean? They won't.
Yeah. Most people have said that. Most immigrants have said online, offline that it was a better life for them, in the other place. But it's like they recognize that this country has better things in itself. But it's just when they say better in their country, they generally mean it was cheaper to be more affordable to live in. Whereas like over here,
This
it's
is a
very
bigger
expensive.
agenda,
You know what I mean?
This is
To
a bigger
basically afford to
agenda.
live here.
Yeah. This is a massively bigger agenda. I mean, like when you don't have any culture or, when you're a homogenized entity, who's good, you're going to be ruled by something, aren't you? Come on. We've seen it in history. We can see it now with China. This is not going to be good it's going to end in tears, big time, for the people. Of course
Yeah, but that's kind of clear. Look, end of the day, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. That is basically, the eventual outcome of, the system that's in
One
play
thing I'd
right
like
now.
to say about this, about the rich getting richer, it's like, I see in Ireland, like next week, I'm going to get £400 in my bank account from the government. For what? Do you know what I mean? So they say it's for the cost of living. Well, where's that money going? It's going to the big corporations, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
kind of. I
money
mean, even
laundering.
the big corporations are losing money. I think the last, I think 26 billionaires recently in China are not billionaires anymore. They've taken losses of up to 21%. I think even more, some of them. And yeah, so because under this regime, I'm not too familiar how and why, but they've taken massive losses right now with the billionaires. So I think they've lost 26 who were billionaires. They're not billionaires anymore. you know.
What
So
are they
there
doing
are,
like
and these are
that?
some big players, like some of the guys,
Right.
the guy who made TikTok, for example, and so on and so forth, you know. Like Elon Musk is taking massive hits with Twitter and everything else, you know, and so on. So this is happening everywhere.
I don't think that. I mean, like, look, I know it sounds like a bit of a savior for free speech, but I don't think that Elon Musk would have ever got into a situation, being the richest man on the earth, so called, if it wasn't, there must be something behind that. There must be something. You can't get to that level. You can't.
Well, he is a genius. let's
what?
not forget about that. He is a genius.
Of what though? I mean, there's a lot of proof out there that that most of his so-called genius stuff is come from other people. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? He might have had a helping hand, but from what other people have said, from who basically grew up with Elon, from what I understand, they. Do you know what I mean? They understood that this man was just a relentless workaholic, and his aim was to become fucking, successful one way or the other. I mean, how did it start? Was it PayPal or something? He basically done a thing in it with
which he was co-founder. He wasn't a sole founder. What else do you think Elon Musk has invented?
Oh, me personally, I don't know too much, but this is like top of my head stuff. It's kind of late for me.
But
go
from
on,
the top
carry
of your
on.
head,
If you know, tell us
what you know. What do you think Elon Musk has actually invented? From
what
nothing.
Has he invented? Interesting. I mean, I could talk generally. I mean, he's basically. Okay, it's a good question, because what he's done is he's cut down costs, right? Generally speaking, from what from like competitors. So like when it comes down to the space stuff, right, he's doing like the rockets and everything else, he's cut down costs in basically building things like that. He's basically made when it comes to the electric car, he's made those cars more efficient, more faster and everything else. He's just done everything better. I don't know actually if he was the inventor of anything in particular, but he's definitely made things better, more affordable and cheaper.
Okay, let me just sorry. Let me. He hasn't actually invented anything original ever, apart from potentially PayPal, but that's also he was involved with another guy, and also there was a company prior to PayPal, which was a failure, and then they kind of came up with PayPal afterwards. He created a game when he was like 13 or something, which is a clone of Space Invaders. So that's nothing new. He bought Tesla, which was a company that was already being run by someone else. SpaceX is the same. All the stuff, all the automatic landing rockets, they were all invented in the 70s. None of that is original. His Hyperloop already was invented like 60, 70 years ago. There's actual patents
He's lies about the tunnels.
Sorry?
He's lies about the tunnels. Remember that he was he actually was saying that he was building all these tunnels through one of the I don't know.
No, the Boring Company. That's all. That's all. What they call is vaporware. It's just a reinventing of the old expression. He's a second-hand car salesman. Elon Musk he's a snake oil salesman. He sells promises. He doesn't actually sell things. His company, Tesla, let's take Tesla. Tesla is vastly overvalued. The reason he appears to be so rich is because of the stocks he has in Tesla. But once the Tesla bubble bursts and people actually value Tesla for what it's actually worth, he's lucky if he doesn't go bankrupt. In fact, Twitter might bury him alone because Twitter is costing him.
Would you ever buy a Tesla car?
It's irrelevant. I mean, they're sort of okay electric cars.
If he fell out of favor with the elite, just like Kanye, he could be gone in an instant.
Well,
that's the truth.
But the thing is, the only reason he's considered the extremely sort of rich person is because of the stocks he holds in Tesla. He has, I think, about 20% of Tesla's stocks. And the way Tesla's stocks are valued are vastly overvalued. You got to think of it this way. I mean, this is something that only I started to realize myself fairly recently. Tesla is a car company that only produces 4 different models. Now compare that with Mitsubishi, Toyota, Ford, BMW,
Volvo.
Mercedes, Porsche, Volvo. They have.
Don't forget Volvo, man. Volvo is a big name, bro.
Yeah, but it's not just Volvo. Volvo is Audi, Volkswagen, as well as Skoda, and I think Porsche is actually produced by Volvo as well now. So these are massive corporations with multiple models under different names.
That have been around
Toyota
longer.
Dwarfs Tesla when it actually comes to the actual number of models and different vehicles, because Toyota is also Lexus, and I forgot there's another company as well. These companies, Nissan, they totally dwarf Tesla. Tesla's value is massively inflated, and when that bubble
they still
bursts,
got the best electric car. I think generally they got, so you got different cars, right, that do different
they have 4
like Ferrari
models.
for example, they're exotic cars. Like whatever, like Volvo make the safest cars. They got very reliable. Volkswagen, they make reliable cars. You get me? Mercedes make luxury cars that are kind of affordable. Like, so there's a market for all of it, but they basically make the best electric car. Am I wrong?
No, not even that.
No?
That's the thing. They have marketed themselves as if they do. This is what I'm saying about snake oil salesman. He makes out that Tesla does something that other people don't. It actually doesn't.
But they did though, right? They did make the best electric car at one point, right? A few years ago, yeah.
They advanced because they started making their own batteries. Sorry?
Yeah, doesn't it? It goes back to the economic hitman. It depends who's in favour. No.
I mean, when you're saying economic hitman, I don't know if you're talking about the book, The Confessions of an Economic Hitman, but that's a whole different thing.
It's not a different thing, because I was fortunate enough to get to talk to the economic hitman, with doing the radio on Tina Say, and it's who's favouring which corporation. That's what I'm saying about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're talking about the corporatocracy, not the actual what the hitmen themselves do.
Well, obviously, when you talk about an economic hitman, there's a lot of branches off from that, which he talks about. Like you've got your publicity, you've got your your marketing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
If you take Ford for example, didn't Ford basically do something similar to what Tesla's doing? They kind of this was years ago, by the way. I don't know if you saw the Ford vs Ferrari movie, right? It kind of showed that Ford were trying to basically come from an economical standpoint and trying to appeal to the masses, and then generally they obviously incorporated more, to make something a little bit on the luxury line, because when they compared Ford to Ferrari, they're like, listen, there's no comparison. Ferrari, it's a Ferrari. Do you know what I mean? And Ford tried to basically adapt. Do you know what I mean? First they were like, let's make a car for everyone. And then they were like, let's make a car that looks really good. So these things, they take time to build, and Ford make fucking fantastic cars. Do you know what I mean? Regardless, some of the Shelby ranges. I
mean, look. I don't want to
Mustangs, and
I don't want to get too sidetracked with all of that. The bottom line is, when it comes to Elon Musk, he is not this genius guy. He's not Tony Stark the way he's trying to PR himself to be. He's far from any PR Tony Stark character. He is probably a reasonable a good programmer, and as far as a super duper engineer, no, he's not. He is good at setting up. He's good at. He is the same. Hold on, let me just finish this. He's the same as Bill Gates. Bill Gates isn't some genius. Everybody thought Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were like these super genius programmers or IT guys. Steve Jobs couldn't program for shit. It wasn't him that built those Macs. He was exactly. He was the business side of the genius that was what's his name? Wozniak. I forgot his first name. Was it Steve Wozniak or whatever?
Steve
Wozniak. Sorry.
Yes. I mean, you pronounce it Wozniak, but Steve Wozniak is the Anglified.
So Wozniak who was able to actually build those machines, to actually program the BIOS.
It's still genius in itself to basically get the team together and basically, you know what I mean, market everything, get it all to go.
But that's what I'm saying.
Because again,
that's what I'm saying.
True.
What good are the fucking geniuses
finding-
if they fucking work can't get sold?
But
and
no, but
made
that's the
and
thing.
Everything like
You're right. There is a certain talent to be had in actually getting the product sold, and that is where Jobs was good at. He had a vision. He was a bit of a visionary. Things like the iPod and the iPhones were visionary sort of products. But by the way, you know the UI. Do you know who invented the mouse? The mouse that you use on your computer. Do you know who invented that? Do you know who invented what we call the GUI, the graphic user interface? Do you know which company invented all of that?
Nope.
Xerox.
IBM? I don't know.
Xerox.
Oh, wow.
Invented everything you see on your computer is because of Xerox. Xerox invented the mouse, the graphic user interface, the trash can, the recycle bin. All of that was Xerox. Xerox invented it.
All I thought Xerox made was printers. That was it.
No, they invented all of this. Steve Jobs almost, completely stole this from Xerox. Xerox didn't paint their product properly.
But why not? Why not? He made it better.
And the thing is,
he saw something and he was like, I could do this better.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it wasn't that he could do it better. He just did it exactly the same as Sol did as microcomputers.
I mean, like Alexander fucking, like made a two-handed spear twice the fucking size of a normal spear, or 3 times the size, and he fucking won wars because of it. He just made it better.
What I'm saying is that a lot of these guys that we call quote unquote geniuses actually were just good at stealing someone else's work and marketing it better. They sold the product better than the person who invented it, but they weren't the inventors. This is why I asked you, what has Elon Musk created? I didn't ask you what Elon Musk has improved
Steve
on.
Jobs, for example.
Sorry?
Yeah. It's not just selling though. It's basically like when it comes to Steve Jobs, he basically came up with the ideas of like, okay, he got the team together that basically made it all happen, but he was like, I want this, I want that, I want you to do this, I want this, I want it to be like this. He made that happen himself. He thought of all these things, and then he had a team of people to make that happen for him. Yeah. So he was creative in that.
He was creative, but he wasn't the genius that people make out. Oh, sorry, Moon, what was that?
I'm just saying, like a visionary he's talking about.
Yeah, they have a vision, but they actually have to get real geniuses to bring that vision to fruition, to bring that vision to life.
Also, Banksy, I understand what Trilla's saying in that respect, because, it's like an artist, isn't it? You have to have the vision before. But it's like anything, you have to have the vision before you can make it into reality.
Yes, to some extent, but somebody has to bring that vision to life. And if you don't know how the logistics of, for example, Da Vinci, they say Leonardo da Vinci invented a flying vehicle. No, he didn't. He drew some pictures of a flying vehicle. He didn't actually make a flying vehicle. I'm sure he would have folded on the serious questioning.
From his pictures,
well,
didn't they actually try and make something like?
He had the idea. He put it, just a moment. He had the idea. He put it on paper, but nobody and nowhere there were technologies to build such a thing. So he had only a vision.
Exactly. Well, he had some ideas.
I swear they've made things similar to what he fucking drew. Like literally, people have made them. Where
people have tried, I think, later on. But what I'm saying is,
they can fly shit.
He didn't invent it. He drew it, and that's all he did. He produced a picture of some vision of something. But what I mean is, but there is a long way. Look, I agree with you guys that there is some merit to having a vision, but it's a hell of a long way from having a vision of some
just by saying
ideas,
it, just by thinking it, just by drawing it, that's enough sometimes.
No.
Like, what's his name? The guy who had the vision, Nostradamus, right? Talked about glass castles, right? Talked about this and that. Like,
he had drugs.
Who would have thought that there'd be, the world would be, just full of fucking windows, whether that was a prophecy or prediction. It's mad. Who would have thought that houses would all be windowed up?
No, but Trilla, That's not really.
Just a moment. Let me describe it because I'm pissed right now about it. Nostradamus. I'm sorry. This guy was a charlatan, probably like the rest of the people that tried to sell me the idea of the end of the world since 2000, the year 2000.
Probably, yeah. It probably was, but I mean, what happens is like his doctrines. What people do is they try to like put them into the world that they're living in, because I know that Nostradamus, like a lot of people say he predicted this, the flying machine where people with glasses on. I've watched all that stuff, you know what I mean, and it's true, isn't it? It's no different to a sci-fi writer in a way, is it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. This is the thing. Concept to
Star Trek.
Things, yeah.
No, but look, Star Trek has made tremendous amount of predictions, if you will, and some of them have actually come true. The devices that we're using in Star Trek Next Generation are literally the mobile phones we're using now. The whole video calling, they were doing video calling in the 1940s and 50s and 60s on Star Trek. Now we're video calling each other. So some of but we still don't have teleportation.
All the information in the palm of your hand. Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
but we still don't have teleportation. We still don't have starships. There is no Starship Enterprise.
That was a little
around.
bit though out there. Like that's a little bit out there. It's like saying and like when it comes down to it, dude. All right, starships. Yeah, kind of like what's the fucking point? Like it'd be great if we did, but generally like I said, dude, I'm a big believer though, yeah. Look, if aliens did ever come to this world, the world would just fucking stop fighting and get their shit together. I'm pretty sure there are aliens, and I don't know why the fuck they haven't already just like. Pardon?
You are so naive. I'm sorry to say that.
It's not really naive, dude. I mean, dude, there's more stars, right, in the world. There are more galaxies, sorry. In the universe, right, than there are grains of sand in the entire planet.
Aliens would come here and recognize the fact that we cannot leave our planet, even colonize our own moon. They would be like, okay, here is our cattle, here are our farm animals. In other words, us.
No, dude. They're looking, dude. They're doing the same thing that we're trying to do, right? They're basically just trying to reach enlightenment, right? And they're just trying to help people, help the world, help other civilizations. They're godly creatures like us, right? In terms of they just believe in whether you believe in God or not doesn't matter. They believe in betterment, right? And just trying to be better. So they're not out there trying to basically slaughter people. That's uncivilized people that do that, right? People who are uncivilized, people that are stupid, like a lot of people in this world they're just fucking idiots. Aliens that are fucking flying around the fucking universe, right, would not fucking be doing that stuff, if there are flying around the universe.
Anyway,
sorry, Trilla, how do you know that?
I don't know what.
To the rest of the people here, I want to ask
that they're not out there trying to conquer other planets.
Sorry, hold on. Let MC, you finish, and then I'll.
Yeah.
I want to just ask one question to Banksy, of course, and Angelon. Honestly, because I believe more if we were going to meet the aliens, we were going to have the Independence Day scenario, or not the alien of James Cameron, but you get me. More than
Why do you think they're all bad, dude? Like, why can't they be good aliens, man? Why can't they be people like the Star Trek people, for example, right?
Listen,
they were trying to basically not interfere.
Trying to defend. There were also not only the bad ones, there were also the kind ones.
There's an old saying. They say the future could either end up being a Gene Roddenberry, which is the guy who wrote Star Trek, or a George Orwell, which 90% of his futures are dystopian, like the world goes to shit. Look at the Time Machine and 1984, so on and so forth. Yes, there is a chance that the aliens might be very benevolent and they'll be like the Vulcans and they'll come and say, live long and prosper. Or there could be motherfuckers who see us as literal cattle, like MC said, and say, okay, now we're going to farm your asses. We're going to put you on fucking farms like we do with cows. We'll milk the women and cut the balls off the men and make them our slaves. which is more likely because that is the shit we did when we went over to the American continent and found the natives over there. We found them to be savages, killed most of them, gave them diseases with smallpox and all the other shit, and then enslaved a bunch of them. So trust me, Triller, when I tell you that the good news of Gene Roddenberry isn't always the case.
That's more Star Wars, right? That's more Star Wars. Like, I get that, like, you know, there, and on top of that, even when you saw Stargate, I kind of do see that as a possibility. You know, the dawn of civilization, you know, there were people either trying to help or whatever, and then some took advantage of their power and, you know, to just make it all about them. And others may have, you know, the intention may have not has been as much to be so egotistical. So there might have been demigods in this world who's, you know, helped the dawn of civilization, right, to occur. And when that happened, right, either there was a great war, because, you know, if you look at the you know, the Hindu one, the what's it called, what's it called, Banksy, that book where the Great War happened with the Hindus, something, yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Mahabharata.
Mahabharata, that's the one. So, like, you know, they depict of a great war between good and evil, right? So there might have been some evil ones and there might have been some good ones, you know what I mean? So with these demigods, right, for example, like, it's a possibility, and I believe that these demigods were, you know, it's possible that they were here and it weren't just all made up stories, you know what I mean? Whether it comes to the Greeks, the Egyptians, the freaking Indians, and, you know, the South Americans, I don't know. I mean, there might be some truth in that, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
No, the thing is, my point wasn't about whether historically aliens have visited us or not. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying if we sort of have this vision that we're going to somehow be visited by benevolent aliens, that is actually an unlikely scenario. That is not guaranteed for sure.
I'm saying that it could have happened already, right? If we look at history, and we look at, you know, these demigods, they could be described as aliens, right? Generally speaking. So, like, you know, like, why not? There's enough evidence to prove that. I mean, how much of a coincidence is it that all these fucking cultures that I've never met, generally, you know, probably most likely never met, you know, they're on different sides of the world, and they are still freaking, you know, like, making tributes to, you know, things from above, you know, the Nazca lines, the pyramids, the Nephilim,
the Nephilim and the Anunnaki. It's true. Yeah, it's absolutely true. They do. If you look back in, like, history of, or like cave drawings and, you know, what people worship, they have. And
not even that, like, there's a belt, you know, like an equator, right? So going around the world, there are monuments, right? That great monuments, right? All around the world. Yeah, that basically you could draw a line, a straight line that connect it all. Literally, it's mad. It's insane how the fuck did that happen? What a coincidence.
But do you know,
is that an accident?
Do you know what I wanted to say about this? You know, listening to you, and it's beautiful listening to you, actually. And what I want to say is, like, I think you know, that's why they're putting down the consciousness of people, you know, making them everybody confused, even who they are, or even what sex they are, and all that sort of shit that's going on at the moment. There's a dark thing that's going on, and you just, you know, it's all to do with the collective consciousness of the world. I absolutely do believe that. You know what I mean? If we're feeding into this stuff that's going on, as you know, on the black box, on, you know, the scrying mirror in the corner, we're gonna be doomed. Maybe we'll rise up in another lifetime or something, or whatever.
What black box? What's a black box? What do you mean?
The black box is the thing that's controlled us for a long time, which is the television, which is like a scrying mirror.
I don't know. I kind of disagree, because the thing is how you utilize knowledge, right? Because knowledge is more accessible than ever before. I think we're at the best point in we're at the best time. I don't think we're at the worst time. We are in the best time the world has ever been. You know?
No, the television is absolutely.
We got freaking TV. We got everything, but like we could control what kind of information we can intake, right? It's not just limited to TV now. We got internet, right? So internet Like we can pick and choose who we want to listen to. We've got independent content creators. It's not all mainstream, right? We can, you know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
if you're just coming off from the television nipple and you're going into YouTube to try and find some reality of what's going on in the world, all
Yeah.
you will see now, unfortunately, because I've seen it, I've seen how it's changed. All you will see now is like, CNN, MBNC, all you will see, if you Google anything at the moment or YouTube anything, it's so different to how it was when YouTube first started. You could actually, if there was a riot going off, in your local community, you could Google it, and you would see like loads of people putting up posts, loads, and from different angles, and to see what was going on. You can't now. YouTube, Facebook, they've all been taken over by like some sort of, obviously donators or whatever. It's always follow the money.
I mean, we're on a platform right now,
It's not
Moon,
the
right?
same.
And we are talking. We are saying whatever we think, whatever we like, right? And unless we basically, break some policy, you know what I mean? This stream is going to stay up. Generally, even if it is small. If it was like I'll get it. If it was like millions of people watching it, yeah, it might get taken down. Do you know what I mean? It might get, it might get censored simply because they don't like what you're saying. If it feels, if they feel like, they're just too influential
look
or
for
something
2
like that.
years.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Look for 2 years where we couldn't. You say one thing about, we had to invent words like jibby jabby. You know what I mean? For what we were talking about. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, seriously, it is a dystopian fucking nightmare what's going on. That, when you try to change like words, you're onto a bad thing. You know what I mean?
But we got to be aware, like, of false prophets. We got to be aware of like of everything. So we're already aware. Most people are aware that like the mainstream media is basically going down. You know that, right? So basically, even like the mainstream media are promoting their content on YouTube. You know what I mean? Because they see a lot of other people on YouTube and other platforms as well. So it's a thing where like that they already realize that their numbers are going down, and more people are listening to more independent content creators more than ever before, and that's going to continue to happen. So it's a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? And there are other platforms people can go on and not be censored as much as YouTube censors
But
people. So
the one very detrimental thing about changing the meaning of words is like understanding what the etymology of words mean. You know what I mean? So when you change the meanings of words, then you're changing like so like when I'm talking to you now, or anybody that's listening, they have to visualize in their minds, change the language and visualize in their minds what I'm saying. So when you change the meaning of words, it's very, very detrimental to society. And that's what Orwell actually talked about with Newspeak, didn't he?
But Shakespeare created his own words, right? Shakespeare literally created words, and people are creating words all the time. Like this is part of our society. And like for example, I might not understand what the youth are saying generally. I might not like it, but that's just the way they talk now. And it's I kind of get it. That's it's their way of communicating. It's cool to them, and this is the thing. So like not everybody's going to speak the Queen's English.
Totally. That's when you're going into But look, is the society that we're listening to now one that we want to bubble into? Do we want our children to bubble into this society? I agree with what you're saying, like because things change all the time, but this change, do we want it? Do you want it for your children?
It's inevitable. The thing is, like I said, when it comes down to the way I've seen society move, I hang around with some people in their early 20s, for example, right? And the way they speak compared to people from my generation, right, in their 30s, it's very different, and they got their own way of speaking. They got their own kind of music that they like to listen to, and so on and so forth. So, but when we're talking about like social, it's called something. What the hell is it called? When you're basically
social credit.
You're learning. It's like integration, right? So like social integration. So like it happens from a young age. Like we try to, we want our kids to fit in. I mean, not be socially awkward. They want to basically integrate. And, people want to be cool generally when they grow up. They don't want to be awkward. They want to integrate into society and everything else.
Exactly.
And sometimes, and they want to be
How
cool
sad is
and
that?
not be an outcast. Like, so learning all these things, right? It's handy to know, you don't need to actually, like it, agree with it, but to know it, it's you're at a great advantage. And if you can adapt, it's surely going to work to your favor. So I think people, need to learn to be more adaptable than actually.
Oh my God, you sound like, are you an AI?
A what?
Are you an AI?
Am I an AI? Oh, no, not yet.
Artificial intelligence. I
Yeah.
mean, you
No, I
said,
don't even think I'm intelligent, let alone artificial.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm dumb as they
I'll
come.
give you an example of that. I will tell you an example of what you just said about like children fitting into this and that. You know what I mean? And right, my oldest son was brought up in Australia, right? And at the time when he was brought up, it was like, so much confidence. I can't even tell you, like loads of confidence to what I was brought up in, like Yorkshire, right? So loads of confidence and, beautiful interactions with the teachers, blah, 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 right? And the peers, right? And then we came back over and lived in Yorkshire, in a beautiful town, Richmond, North Yorkshire. And the difference, it reminded me of like, going back to like Kes. I'm not joking here. That, that the teachers didn't allow the kids to have the confidence. And they weren't, what I mean? I just saw so much of a difference with that. And it just shows you, what I mean? I know for a fact Australia's gone backwards now, unfortunately, hasn't it? With all the lockdowns and the bloody, what's going on. And, it's just, it's sad what's going on in Australia. But, it just shows you it's nothing to do with like what the people want. It's to do with what's being indoctrinated into the people.
Yeah.
All of it, like the school system.
It comes to like when it comes to the when I'm talking about the integration with the children, for example, and then afterwards, like how you came on earlier, you basically talked about how you would prefer homeschooling and being with the children.
Definitely.
As opposed to like taking them to school. But both have their merits, right? Like I had the best time of my life in school, man. And I mean, I fucking would not trade that in for anything. Me being stuck at home with my parents and family, fuck that. I'll be out.
I totally understand that. I think I'm just saying, like, what the indoctrination is going on with the kids at the moment. Like, seriously, I don't believe that was happening because, like, with my kids at that time, I don't think that was happening. But it is happening now, isn't it? With all this, like, white man bad, white man, all this sort of stuff. It's just terrible. And it shouldn't be happening. It's just trying to pit us all off each other. And, we have to rise above all what they're doing and know what they're doing. But unfortunately, people don't. They just listen to, like, mainstream. Even the BBC, they're disgusting, biased people. I don't know what's
if I saw an immigrant, right, that basically came to the country and they basically were looking for a better life, right, and like, and they knew nothing about, they got into the country but they didn't know what to say, they didn't know to say asylum seeker, right, for example, I would tell them, say you're claiming asylum, and you can stay here, right? That's exactly what I would do for them. And because I'm looking for the person, right? And I think the country would be fine. I mean, so when it comes down to it, like, that's the kind of guy I am, and that's the kind of guy
listen,
my dad is, for example. Do you know what I mean? Like,
anybody would. If you were sort of approached by anybody that's in distress, you would help them, of course. Yeah, I think that's the downfall of the West. You know what I mean? That is absolutely the downfall of the West. You know what I mean? Because of the indoctrination of Christian values. You know what I mean? I honestly do. I think it's actually always been a program of what they wanted to do in the future. That's what I believe. Yeah. Yeah. There's not many other countries that would put up with it. They just wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, man. Yeah, Moon, I was going to say it's been really freaking nice talking to you. It's getting a bit late. Banksy, thanks for having me on. War, next time. You know what I mean? Take care of my Polish counterpart.
Take care.
You know what I mean? But yeah, guys, I'll catch you later, innit, yeah? I've got to, get some stuff done before I go to sleep, innit? So take care of you lot, yeah? Big up the chat. Peace.
Okay, guys and girls, it looks like everybody's out. Guys, I'm going to end the show now. Thank you so much for coming. You have all been awesome. Have a wonderful night. Okay, I'm going to switch over to myself.
My pleasure. Try to deceive Twitter. I will try to deceive Discord to go back there.
All right, have a good one, my man. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care, Rachel. Thank you for coming. Thanks everyone on the panel. Hassan, take care. Okay, guys and girls, I'm out of here. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for showing up. I know it's only 15 people left in the side chat. You've all been awesome. Thanks, and I am going to finish us off from the same song that I started with. And that is, if I can get it.
برای توی کوچه رقصیدن، برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن، برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن، برای شرمندگی، برای بیپولی، برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی، برای کودک زباله‌گرد و آرزوهاش، برای این اقتصاد دستوری، برای این هوای آلوده، برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده، برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش، برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه، برای گریه های بیوقفه، برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه، برای چهره‌ای که میخنده، برای دانش آموزا، برای آینده، برای این بهشت اجباری، برای نخبه های زندانی، برای کودکان افغانی، برای این همه برای غیر تکراری، برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی، برای آوار خونه های پوشالی، برای احساس آرامش، برای خورشید پس از شبای طولانی، برای غوصای اعصاب و بیخوابی، برای مرد میهن آبادی، برای دختری که آرزو داشت پسر بود، برای زن زندگی آزادی، برای آزادی، برای آزادی، برای آزادی.
How you going, everyone? Here's me face. I'd like to give a massive shout out to Iranian high school girls. No, I am dead set fucking serious. Women such as Mahsa Amini, Hadis Najafi, and Nika Shakarami have been murdered recently in Iran because religious shit cunts control the government. Mahsa was the first death to trigger this recent movement when morality police arrested her for showing too much hair. And the way Iranian high school girls are protesting makes them the most courageous people on the planet. And I reckon